Sanjeev, you are not audible.
No, it is you, Prasanna ji. I'll request you to start your opening, to give your opening remarks. Hello. We welcome you to this program on the risk management through insurance and the taxation of the private and the charitable trust. I hope I am audible and visible, because that's the new norm these days. Because of the virtual meetings, we ask, am I audible? Am I visible? Yes. So very good evening to all, and we have a very strong panel today. We have CA Rajiv Sen Gupta and Mr. Tapan Singhal for the insurance panel, and then we will have none other than our tax guru, Dr. Girish Ahuja, for the session on taxation of the private and the charitable trust. And we are also joined by my co-chairman, CA Prasanna Kumar D, who is the co-chairman of the Committee for Member in Practice, and my elder brother in the council and the chairperson of the Banking Committee, CA Prakash Sharma ji, who hails from Jaipur and who is doing a lot for in this area of responsibility which has been assigned to me and which has been assigned to him. And friends, I would just add a few lines that the Committee for Member in Practice is taking up a lot of initiative in this year. We have tied up with the various insurance providers, with the healthcare providers, diagnostic labs, softwares, books, consumer electronics, antivirus, and the accounting software. Please make best use of that. And ICAI is doing a path-breaking capacity building initiative for its members by bringing the digital audit tool. We are bringing the 4 types of digital audit tool. One is the audit documentation tool. Second is the data analytical tool. Third is the digital library. And fourth is the practice management software. The RFP for all these tools has already been issued. And we have also started the registration process for all the members. Already, a very large number of members have already registered them. The registration date is 30th June. Kindly register yourself at the earliest. And besides, the Committee for Member in Practice is doing the 3 certificate courses. One is on the working papers. Second is on the wealth management. And third is on the appeals. These are 3 very, very important courses for building capacity. So your Committee for Member in Practice is undertaking a lot of initiative for the capacity building. Please make the most of it. Please take the maximum benefit out of these programs. The Committee for Member in Practice aims at strengthening the capabilities of all the members. And these days, digital is the norm. And then that's why the webinars are also held on a digital mode. And these audit tools also that we are bringing will be on the electronic mode, which will help you save a lot of time, cost, and energy. So we hope with this, the members will be able to bring efficiency, accuracy, and also they will be able to store their working papers electronically, which will save a lot of space and which will also help in sustainability of the planet, because a lot of paper will also be saved. The working paper which you used to make in the physical form can now be made in the electronic form as well. So I once again welcome you onto this webinar. This webinar is joined already by more than 1,500 members, and as time progresses, I'm sure that more and more members will join. Right now, we have 1,692 members, and a lot of questions have also started coming in. So without taking more time, I would straight away request CA Prasanna ji to give his welcome address. It seems that there is a bandwidth issue with at the end of the Prasanna ji. So in the meanwhile, then I will request my elder brother in the council and the chairman of the banking committee, who is the co-host of this program, CA Prakash Sharma ji, to give his keynote address. Over to you, Prakash bhai.
Thank you, Sanjay bhai. Respected chairman of CMI committee and my colleague in the council, very learned, very hardworking, working 24/7. Really we inspire from your hardworking, sir. My Sanjeev ji, Co-chairman of CMI committee, Prasanna ji, today's learned speaker, Tapan Singhal ji, Rajiv Sen Gupta ji, secretary of CMI committee, Anil ji, secretary of banking committee, Turan Jain. She is also very hardworking, and all the participants. I welcome you all in this very, very important session of managing corporate risk through insurance in today's world of uncertainty and taxation of private and charitable trusts. Friends, in the first session, we'll be taking managing corporate risk through insurance in today's world of uncertainty. I can start from the statement of HDFC Bank's CEO that this is the first time in the bank's history that they are not sure that in which direction our bank results will go. And they are expecting that we may have more leakages, we may have more NPS in coming time. And just before 1 year back, that bank was doing fantastic. Yesterday only, we saw that just due to one information and one action of our government, that Adani Group lost 20 billion. They were not knowing that all of a sudden the share market will go down drastically due to frozen of some of the investors' investment in their account. More than 250 good hotels, they were doing fantastic just before 1 year back, but they are closed now presently. We just listened that 2 days, 3 days back that Hyatt Regency, one of the most famous hotel in Bombay, has been shut down due to lack of funds. Friends, if there was one thing that the year 2020 was showed us, it was the importance of being digitally versatile. And how it showed us, we saw that all of a sudden our PM sir declared faceless assessment in income tax. And to what level? To the level of tribunal. Not in any other country it is like that. Even in USA, from scrutiny, it is physical. But in our country, till tribunal, it will be faceless. We saw in budget that all of a sudden, all the certification of GST has been removed. Even tax audit limit has been increased to 10 crores. In the last week of March, we saw another circular, although it had been postponed for a year, but that circular says that now you will have to keep track of accounting software, trail of accounting software of your clients. So the things are changing so fast. After COVID, our online working multiplied by 100 times. But at the same time, cyber crime has increased by 500 times. The way things are changing, even a few days back, there was a statement of IBM chief, Mr. Krishna, that cybersecurity is pressing issue of the decade. And that is true. So the things are changing in very, very different way. And we don't know ourselves that in coming time, what action will change this total scenario. Labor laws has also come in this country. It has come with very, very strong mandatory requirements, although it has been postponed for some time because most of the states have not come out with their rules. But the way things are changing, frankly speaking, it is now very important to cover our risk regarding we should have a good knowledge about that thing, that how we have to cover risk or how we have to advise to our client about the corporate risk. At the same time, we have to cover our own firms also for dealing this type of matters on the point of view of stakeholders at the same time for the third party liability. So I will not take much of the time because we are having very learned speakers today, and we'll like to listen to them. Sanjeev bhai, should I introduce Rajiv ji or?
Yeah. I think in the interest of time, you can
Yeah.
introduce Rajiv ji, and then I'll be requesting Prasanna ji for his welcome address.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Friends, today we are having Rajiv Sen Gupta ji, eminent speaker. Rajiv Gupta ji is a practicing fellow chartered accountant with over 25 years of rich experience in the field of risk management, insurance, and internal audits. He is also a qualified information system auditor, that is CISA USA, and an associate member of the Insurance Institute of India. Before moving into practice and risk advisory space in 2015, Rajiv ji was global head of insurance with Jubilant Bhartiya Group and has also previously worked in PwC, Manat Column Group, etc. He is also based in Delhi and is a commerce graduate from PGDAV College, Delhi University, and has done his schooling from DPS Arkepura. So, not taking much of the time, over to Rajiv Sankar.
Thank you very much, Prakash bhai. And before I request Rajiv to host this panel along with you, my co-chairman CA Prasanna ji, and who is doing a very wonderful job in as the chairman or as the head of the board of discipline, and the way passionately is working on the examination in the examination committee. Hats off to him. I receive his wonderful support in the committee for member in practice, and I would request him to say a few words and also introduce Rajiv's co-panelist, Mr. Tapan Singhal. Over to you, Prasanna.
Yeah, thank you. So, respected CA Dr. Sanjay Singhal, the chairman of Committee for Members in Practice, and respected CA Prakash Sharma, the chairman of Insurance Committee, and I always call him my champion. So, very disciplined and disciplined soldier and punctual person. Mr. Tapan Singhal, another speaker. CA Dr. Girish Oja in absentia. CA Rajiv Sen Gupta, another speaker on insurance. And my dear members and participants, good evening to all of you. It is my proud privilege today to welcome you all for a prestigious, very most important topics are going to be dealt today in the webinar by three stalwart speakers on the subjects of dynamic importance and paramount importance to all of us. So, as you know, I was not in the beginning of the meeting because I had some technical issue. I joined it late. I limit myself to welcome you all for this particular seminar, webinar, and get benefit out of the deliberations today. So with this, my dear friends, I'll just quickly move on to introduce a stalwart personality. I think I feel privileged to introduce him. I've seen his profile. He's none other than Tapan Singhal. Is a very eminent speaker, and Tapan Singhal is a Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. Tapan Singhal is one of the founding members of the Bajaj Allianz General Insurance. As its Managing Director and CEO for 9 years now, Tapan has built the organization to where it is today with close to 11 crore customers and a wide distribution network spanning across the country with more than 1,000 locations in the country. Under his dynamic leadership, the company has been recognized as one of the best in Asia. An avid social media influencer, Tapan has over 6.8 lakh followers on LinkedIn and has been recognized as the LinkedIn's top voice in India in both 2018 and 2019. He also chairs the CAI National Committee on Insurance and Pensions. He has also been honored. He is a recipient of many awards. He has been honored as the Personality of the Year at the India Insurance Summit and Awards 2019, 22nd Asia Insurance Industry Award 2018, and also Indian Insurance Summit 2017, and the most promising business leader of Asia at the Economic Times Global Business Summit 2018. He has also won CEO of the Year award and honor at the prestigious 3rd Annual Insurance India Summit Award 2018 and Insurance Asian Awards. Who else will be the right person to deal with the subject that we are going to deal with today? We are proud. We have got great privilege to welcome you, sir, for this particular forum where we are all privileged. Today we've got two singles here. One single is also a recipient of many awards, right from his college days also. That is our Nanda Siddhan, our own chairman, committee for members in practice. When both of them are on the screen, I'm sure we are going to derive a lot of benefit out of this one. So over to the panelists for further deliberations.
Wonderful, wonderful, Prasanna ji, and it was really a wonderful, introductory session, and we are privileged and honored, to have Mr. Nananath and Mr. Singhal on the committee of our members in practice to deliberate and listen out from him what are the areas on the corporate risk management that we should seek his guidance from. So without wasting any time, and thank you for all. Thank you, the chairman, co-chairman, and our other members on the dais. Mr. Singhal, I will, without wasting much of your time, we would like to have this session around corporate risk management, which is the theme of the day, and understand from Mr. Singhal, who is the industry stalwart for more than 30 years of experience in this general insurance industry, who has actually built Bajaj Allianz what it is today, right, from the start and to what it is now and what level it is. And it is our great honor, Mr. Singhal, to have you on this panel. And I think close to about 2,000 members are presently watching you live. And we would definitely, by the end of the session, we would definitely like to take your learnings, your teachings, your guidance on this important aspect of corporate risk management. So, Chairman sir, shall we start the deliberations and the Q&As?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mr. Singhal, you have been an industry, stalwart for quite some time now. So, to our members, and of course, a lot of members in this session are also practicing. And apart from that, they're also sitting in various corporate, corporate side of the India INC, and they are working in across this field of spheres, whether it is finance, whether it is risk, or whether it is whether it is legal or sectorial, and also insurance. So, what from your point of view, with your experience and size, what are the key top of the mind 2 or 3 key takeaways that you will like to bring upon from your experience to this audience today?
First and foremost, Rajiv, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. I think I have a lot of respect for chartered accountants, the kind of understanding that you have for business. I don't know how business would do if you were not supporting business or giving your inputs to business. I think not even in business, even in taxation or anything. So I've always been very, very impressed, and that's why when Rajiv told me that he wants me to be here, I said, okay, I'll come over. I think just to pay my respect to all of you. So my idea of being here is to pay respect to all of you. But let me start with answering the question. The 2-3 things which is my big learning about insurance industry, and from a perspective of somebody whose advice is valuable, like a chartered accountant, talk to your companies and people. See, I think one of the big learning is, and I'll let me talk about a small story about myself and then about the corporate, because then I think we relate it more. So when I started working, and like most mothers, I'm sure all of your mothers would also told you the same thing, save something for the rainy day. I think in my time when I was growing up, saving was a big issue. Like, people would insist that you save something for the rainy day. Things can go wrong. And most of us in our early youth, I think whatever we earned, it was either spending on necessities or saving for the rainy day. Now, when I joined the insurance industry, one thing I realized was that if I actually analyze the rainy day, it is just 3 things which can happen. Either I fall ill, so which can cost a lot of expenses. Second, I have an accident, which can cost. Or third, if the assets that I have procured at a personal level, if something goes wrong for that, that can cost a lot of money. And I realized that all this I can actually buy for less than a couple of meals that I have out with my friend on any day. That was the only cost of it. If I bought insurance, then actually I don't have to worry about saving for rainy day. My money was freed up for actually taking care of whatever desires I had of traveling or looking at things. Now, something similar I see in the corporate world, which I see, the same story I see. Insurance is the least of all priority. And if it has to be taken, it is because the bankers require it or the law of the land requires it. It is not taken from a perspective of risk mitigation or freeing up or securing your balance sheet of risks which can go wrong. I think the classic case is that how many of you would be aware that pandemic as a cover was available. No, and you must have heard the story of Wimbledon. I think Wimbledon was one who had that cover, and when because of the pandemic the losses happened, they received huge money. In fact, we hear of the Tokyo Olympics. If it gets cancelled, no, there'll be huge, money which would get paid out. So let's say if as a corporate we had the pandemic cover, you can imagine that all the losses we're talking about, all the economic recession we're talking about, not happen. A simple thing like migrant laborers, which triggered of the first wave, would have actually been paid for on the standing charges if we had that cover which was there. Now, that is something which again really interests me, because when I look at insurance, I find it at a very low cost. It offers massive protection, but do we really look at it from that lens? That was one learning which I had over time, and still it is there. The second learning which I had was on the claims side. I think when you look at filing income tax documents, or we look at filing any kind of documents, or even taking a loan, we go through the documents with a lot of detail. But the insurance policy document, we don't even look at it for a single, I think even the time to be spent on that. Very few people actually go through the document detail and understand what is payable, what is not payable, what are the claims you can trigger, and what is the requirement of it. It's just a couple of pages of document. It's not very complex now. And when a claim happens, that's the time when we pick up the document, and then we say that, no, we did not see the hidden clauses, or there's no hidden clauses. It's very simply put forward. What is paid, what is not paid, That is something which again surprises me, that why don't we spend some time when you're procuring an insurance policy? And last but the least is that why don't we push insurance companies to provide us good cover? We just heard Mr. Sharma speak about the cyber crime going up by 500 times. I think he missed a zero. The statement is 5,000 times. The cyber crime has moved up 5,000 times. How many of us at a personal level, let's not talk of corporate right now, I'll talk about later, have taken individual cyber cover? Every day we read about it. And the cost of individual cyber cover is just about 700 rupees for a year for a lakh of cover. That is all. Then for our own companies or companies whom we are attached to, how many of we are actually forced our insurers to come out with a good cyber liability? The risk is on us. It is such a huge risk. 5,000 times it has moved up in just the pandemic time. Have we looked at it? So these are 2-3 things which comes to my mind immediately, because something which I've been assured for such a long time, and I find it so fascinating. And the cost of it is phenomenally low compared to all the expenses that you have. If you look at insurance expense to overall expense, just try and match it together. You're surprised to see it hardly costs anything. Is this a place where we just do mandatory insurance, or do we really look into it from a risk mitigation perspective? Is the point that I had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all agree that insurance is just like especially in this part of India, what we have also observed over time in corporates, that it's just a tick box, it's just a compulsion, it's just a piece of paper, that people buy. There are very few people who actually go through the contract, buy the insurance, from the point of view of actually a risk mitigating tool, and ensure themselves that they are right on, they have covered most of the insurable risks, so to say, which affects their balance sheet items. Very well said on this subject. So, Mr. Singhal, taking this question forward, and the importance of insurance, which is low presently, in our part of geography. What do you think should be the approach? And since we are on this corporate risk management, what do you think should be the approach to give the direction to this insurance, so that the people in corporate, sitting today in the corporate and handling insurance as one of the sub functions, take this approach, take your advice and guidance, and see this as a sincere risk mitigating tool, and just not purely a compulsion or a tick, or from a compulsion from the bankers, sir?
This is a very good question, Rajiv. Now, again, here what happens is I see a lot of corporates, when I do business with them, they say ki itna premium diya hai, I paid so much premium, and this is the kind of claims I'm getting. This is the amount of claims I'm getting. This is not a transaction in which every year you pay some premium and you should get the equal amount of claims back. That is not the way it has to be seen into. Now, why I tell this is simply because a lot of companies actually try to look at all the small claims, that, and how do they cover that, and how should they take that. Now, that enhances your premium and does not give you the requisite balance sheet protection that you're actually looking for. So the idea when you're finalizing an insurance contract is simply, first and foremost, look at your balance sheet. Look at what risks will upset your balance sheet, what events will upset your balance sheet, and what is the amount which you cannot bear. I'll tell you why it is so. So when you allow small claims, to become part of contract, and you're taking small claims with the feeling that, okay, I'm paying premium, I'm getting the claims back. In fact, you pay higher premium because you're taking so many small claims. What happens for the corporates is that the risk handling or the looking at why these small claims are happening or the way they cut the process or systems in place takes a backseat. The idea is claim is getting through. So which is detrimental to the corporate in the long run. So let me give you small examples of marine claims. Like claims when a truck is moving and because it is passing through, let's say, on the top you have all these branches and they hit the consignment and those get damaged, actually has a huge amount of claim. And the simple thing is when you look at it or the packing, which can actually improve from the rainwater perspective, it can save you a lot of money. Now, most corporates feel that since the insurance company is paying for it, we do not worry about it. But what they don't realize is that at the end of the day, that premium comes back to them in terms of higher premium. So let's say if I have to finalize an insurance program for my, let's say, corporate, I would not take for small claims. I would take it a bit higher. What is going to hit my balance sheet? Small claims has to be handled and figured out by my own company, figuring out why these claims are happening and how we stop it. It is more about housekeeping, about process orientation, about getting it right. So that will bring down your premium cost, because the chartered accountant, I think one thing which is there is always there, the premium cost should be there. But big events, let's say a cyber crime happens, let's say a explosion happens, let's say a fire happens, let's say if a D&O triggers off, if let's say a liability triggers off, product liability triggers off, or a complete consignment gets washed away. When big claims happen, that's going to affect my balance sheet. So all that which can happen and trigger is a conversation I have with the insurance company, and what is the size at which I should start my insurance program and take that in a way that I'm able to cover all the big risks. And that premium I shall pay very happy. And my only prayer to the God would that I should never be able to trigger a claim on that instance that something should go wrong. But those would be real big claims, which is going to affect my balance sheet. So in a way, I'll be able to get very good covers. I'll be able to reduce the premium also by eliminating the small day-to-day claims which is happening. It's more of my housekeeping and my event. And those will be the big events when the trigger is going to affect my company. And if I'm able to defend the balance sheet well, I think that is what my purpose would be as a chartered accountant, from a perspective of giving advice. That's the way, Rajiv, I would do my risk management for a company which I'd be looking at.
Yeah. I think most of the members who are listening to this important aspect from Mr. Singhal would appreciate and agree that look at the strength of your balance sheet. What Mr. Singhal is probably trying to advise us that look at the strength of your balance sheet and see how strong are your balance sheets, so that those risks which are not affecting you at all, those do not spend much time on it. Look at the larger risks which will affect potentially your balance sheet. For example, as Mr. Singhal mentioned, maybe a directors and officers liability risk or a cyber crime risk, and leave the housekeeping internal. So it will have two advantages. A, your risk management on the petty issues on the smaller side will be there available, and you will spend less on those premium aspects, while at the same time you will put your money, or you will put your shareholders' money investing and buying insurable risk solutions, which will ultimately affect your balance sheet, so to say, if they have to come in future. I think broadly this is what Mr. Singhal is very well trying to make us understand. Fantastic, Mr. Singhal. Thank you for this advice. Prakash ji, would you like to take, if we have got some questions coming up from our learned members, do we have somebody to quickly take?
Sir, can you start?
Co-chairman, sir.
Mr. Prasanna ji.
Prasanna ji, is it there? Chairman, sir, do we have some questions? Okay. No problem. So, Raji, what I suggest is maybe I will continue with a few more questions, and as and when we have these questions coming in after some time, then we can take them one by one. Yeah.
Right.
One important, this is the Mr. Singhal. One important, grudges that today corporates have was, you are sort of not not able to provide me with coverages that I look forward to. For example, the pandemic cover, which is the latest thing which has come in, and we saw a lot of corporates, a lot of queries which have come to various insurance companies and to reinsurers. That was, I have a stoppage of my business without any damage, to my assets and property. However, daily I am losing X amount of my profits. So please give me a pandemic cover, or please give me an options to have a pandemic cover. So, what has been done till now, and especially we are looking at the third wave now, second is already passed, almost passing. So this is something that India INC is really look forward to, and I would like, from you as MD and CEO of Bajaj Alliance, part of Alliance Group, please enlighten us, and how much, and how, do we see any possibility, in this financial year coming, especially the wave 3 is coming or likely to come, how soon can we have this product in India?
Okay, it's a very good question, Rajiv. And I think I'll talk about 2-3 things, and you'll find it very interesting to hear the answers. The first is, when the first wave hit, my worry as an insurer was, and as a thought leader for the industry, was that the biggest issue was migrant laborers and salary of employees, because that got shut down and migrant laborers were forced to move, and actually the pandemic started spreading with that, and the salary employees got cut or reduced, or layoffs started happening. So the economy got a hit on that basis. And I was thinking that one thing we could do was that provide standing cover charges for that. And for that, we should create a pool as an industry, the pandemic pool. And one of my first early speeches, I thought, and I mentioned about the pandemic pool creation, like we had created a terrorist pool, if you remember, way back. And that's when the Mumbai terrorism and all the event happened, we could pay off very, very comfortably. So we said we should create a pandemic pool. And as an industry, we put together, and then we put the thought to our regulator. The regulator created a committee for the pandemic pool, and they put in a suggestion for the government. So if I look at the industry can put together, let's say 5,000 odd crores, and the government has to back it up by about close to 60-70,000 crores. It's a backing up. If things go wrong, the government should be able to pay that. Most countries across the world have this backing from the government. Now I see a lot of announcements, happening that this is what we are going to allow for the economy, and this is what's going to happen. But a simple thing like a pandemic pool, if put in place, and when a trigger happens, corporates who have this cover is going to actually help them, be able to take care of the expenses and charges. But the response is still awaited from the government for the pool to get created, because then that is how it is going to happen. But I'm happy to say that at least up to the regulatory perspective, they have given the recommendation. It's gone to the ministry. The industry has also supported that. A pool, actually, it has to have a size of 80,000 crore to 90,000 crore to take care of this kind of magnitude of problem. Is in the offline. Now, let me talk about something which you'll find very, very interesting. Now, let's say, if a house is on fire and you say, okay, right now, can you give me an insurance cover for this? It's too late. But let us say, if you have more houses to be covered, insurance cover can be provided for it. And I mentioned this in one of my, again, gatherings, and it was, again, with learned people around. I said, if you want a pandemic cover, and you will not get for COVID now, one is the pool creation, that obviously would take care of it. But if you want a pandemic cover right now, send me an email. I can give a pandemic cover for future pandemic events today also, because this is already like house on fire. This pandemic is already on. We know third wave is coming, second wave is on, So for this, obviously, you will have to have government support, and you'll have to have a pool creation in which, some trigger can be looked into. But let us say future pandemic. Now, and I was surprised to see not a single email came to me by thousands of participants who were looking for pandemic cover to get their corporates covered for future pandemic. That cover is available, Rajiv. COVID-19, you'll not get a cover now. It's too late. Your house is already on fire. So it's too late. But future pandemic cover, you can still buy. That is what it shows, that when it comes to insurance, the problem is we were thinking of insurance when the event is triggered. When the cyber liabilities happen or product liabilities happen, or claims have happen, we should actually think of insurance when things are good. Pandemic cover was available even before COVID struck. Pandemic cover is available for the future pandemics. But now expectation is the next pandemic will come after 100 years, because after Spanish flu, this one came. But what we forget is, if you look at statistics, this pandemic was on the way. In fact, the TED talk of Bill Gates, and he had actually mentioned that the pandemic would be coming. Now, how did he do that? He's not an astrologer. simply because he was observing SARS has happened, Ebola has happened. In a 10-year, 12-year frequency, a major event was happening. An epidemic was happening. Pandemic had not happened. But when the build-up was happening, a big thing was coming into the play. And that's what happened. Now, are we thinking the next pandemic will come after 100 years? No. We may be wrong. We may have a third wave. We may not have a third wave. We may have fifth wave, sixth wave also. Nobody is sure. All that we read about. In fact, a very popular joke which I heard when somebody asked somebody that, no, what do you think about the pandemic? And the person said, I'm not a journalist. I can't answer this question. The issue is that nobody knows how many waves will be there. There will be no waves. Nobody knows will the next pandemic come or not. So my humble request would be, please look at it seriously. One, the recommendation for a pool creation already gone to the ministry. Second is that for future pandemics, you can still get a cover, but would you want to buy one?
Yeah. So I think that is, that was a great insight that we have got from Mr. Singhal, that to all our members who are listening to this live lecture, that the current pandemic COVID-19 cover is not available. However, if you want to plan for any future pandemic cover, it is very well available as of now with the Indian insurers. So that is something which the corporates who are in the field of insurance and risk management should evaluate whether they would like, from a future perspective, make a plan, make a long plan, saying that we would like to look at this cover, maybe 1 or 2 years, 3 years down the line, and make preparation for that, so that tomorrow's date, when there is a COVID-20 or a COVID-21 or a COVID-22, for example, we are sure that our risks are protected, and because the cover is available. Very finely explained by Mr. Singhal that the Wimbledon event was covered because they had taken a cover for such pandemic to occur long time back. So that's something which went in their favor. So they had planned it out well, and that's the coverage which was available. The second aspect which Mr. Singhal touched upon was the standing charges cover for migrant labor, which is a product which is available and can be planned right now, immediately, looking forward at our risks. And we know that this is going to stay for long. I know people are talking like 3 to 5 years also, such pandemics coming on a recurring basis. So this is something which I would advise all the risk and insurance practitioners to look at this cover and evaluate, and then take a decision to buy this product in the near term to long term future.
Rajesh, there is one question. Can I take it?
Sure, Prakash.
Yeah. The question is, while purchasing the insurance policy like term and etc., term loan, etc., what area should check and what type of cover should be added in the policy?
So, did they mention term insurance, sir? I couldn't hear it.
Term, yes.
Okay. Now, that is by irony of my life throughout, sir. Nothing new. When I joined general insurance industry, and whenever I would go and talk to people that I work for insurance industry, they would say, after meeting me second time, LIC kaisa chal raha hai? Sir, term insurance is given by life companies. 30 years I've been into general insurance. On life, my commentary would be like any layman. I can appear intelligent and give you answers, but actually I'm not a life insurance person. I've never handled life insurance. All my 30 years I've handled general insurance. So this has been the irony right through, sir. Any meeting, abhi to kam ho gaya. Shuru mein, after meeting and telling people I work for insurance industry and I meet them again, they always ask me, LIC kaise chal raha hai? And I would say, theek hai, sir. It's going fine. On term, you want to answer it, sir, but it's like any layman, sir. You answer it better than me, sir. No?
Right. Mr. Singhal, I want to ask a question. See, Institute is running a few scheme on the medical insurance for members, and the policy is with New India. We are planning to take a super top-up for our members. So one, and pardon my ignorance if this question is not already been answered, if you can explain the importance or the benefits of super top-up, maybe the difference between top-up and super top-up. And also, I'm asking that, if you would like to offer a super top-up product to the members of ICAI, then certainly, it is my committee who looks into this. So it's certainly be keen. So while I understand the super top-up, I've taken the super top-up, maybe for the benefit of everyone, if you can just also explain, if this has not already been answered.
Thank you, Sanjeev. So don't trigger me on salesmanship. Then I'll start selling to all of you. But let me talk on the subject, sir.
Health insurance.
Yeah, health insurance. So if I look at it on a product basis, when somebody asks me at an individual level, how should I buy health insurance, and how should I look at cover? So let me answer that question, but then I think broadly on the group basis, we'll be able to understand it. So I tell people, first and foremost, think what a normal surgery would cost you, Normal surgery, I'm not talking of surgery for heart or for dialysis or cancer, or I'm just talking about normal surgery. How much will it cost you in a hospital, a good hospital you want to go? So let us say the answer is 2 lakh or 3 lakh rupees. So I would say take a base cover of 3 lakh rupees, which is for normal surgery. Because the premium for taking a full blown up cover up to 10 lakh rupees is going to be very expensive, for a normal person. So a base cover of 3 lakh rupees. On top of it, if I take a top up, which triggers after 3 lakh rupees, the premium falls substantially even for 10 lakh top up. So if I combine a top up with the base policy, then it's good. Now top up also, how much will I take? So the next level is that if I remove the critical surgeries, what is the cost of surgery which is happening? So let us say roughly a 10 lakh cover is a good cover to have. So a 10 lakh top up. So I will take a 3 lakh base cover. I will take a 10 lakh top up, and then I'll take critical illness, which is for critical surgeries. And that I would take as a benefit policy, not a policy which is on reimbursement basis. Let's understand two differences. There are two kind of health policies in the market. One is on reimbursement, which means that if we incur expenses, that gets reimbursed by insurance companies. So these two I spoke to you about, the base policy and the top up, they would be reimbursement policies. And I'll take a critical illness, which is a benefit policy. Benefit policy means that if I contract the illness and if I survive, let us say whatever period is kept, 15 days, 30 days, full sum insured gets paid to me. So let's say if I take a 30 lakh sum insured or 50 lakh sum insured, why is it critical illness? When I have a critical illness, it is going to be a long drawn out process. Critical illness will cover heart surgery, it will cover cancer, it will cover kidney, you cover the major illnesses which is there. But 25 or 30 is listed in that. Some companies have more, but mostly 25, 30 is company. I'll take a cover for that, let's say for a 50 lakh cover. So what happens is, now if I add the three policies together, and there's one more fourth, which I normally say that if you're taking this three, take that too. Then for about a reasonable cost, which I have paid for a 10 lakh or 15 lakh, full blown up cover, I'd actually get a full cover of 50 lakh, which gets triggered when something goes wrong, and I get the full money with me. I get a base cover, which takes care of regular illnesses. I get a top up cover, which if it exceeds, it takes that. And the fourth policy, which I tell my friends is, it is called hospital cash. It's a very cheap policy. It gives you 1,000 rupees per day of hospitalization. So people ask me, why do you tell this? I said, this takes care of all the visitor expenses. Chai, pani, nasta, jo bhi hai, 1,000 rupees per day. It doesn't matter about, again, whether you have a policy. It pays you per day 500,000, whatever limit you've taken, 2,500 rupees per day, it pays you that. If you take these four policies together, you are very, very secure, in terms of whatever may go wrong.
So roughly, what will be the amount of insurance which we will have, like a payment which we will be paying? Roughly.
No, sir. If you look at it, sir, for a 10 lakh, it depends on age. 10 lakh cover.
You just mentioned about 15 lakhs. You just mentioned.
Let's say the 10 lakh cover top up will cost you about 3,000 rupees a year. So it's ridiculously low, no, sir. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. The base can take full 10 lakh, it touches 25,000 rupees and it goes through, So the way you plan health policies is you should plan it like this, and then you're secure. Now, as an institution, you're giving it, Sanjeev, sir, it's a very good thing to do. But honestly, as individuals, if you don't have it, it's a very sad thing to do. From day zero, I've been in job. I have my own health cover. It is irrespective of what my company provides me. And I actually have all this top up which I've told you. I have this cover structured the way I've told you, which I bought for myself. Institutions today may provide, tomorrow may not provide. But as I get older, for me to get a good cover, which covers all my illnesses of pre-existing, gets difficult. So my recommendation to all of you would be, if institution provides you, be very happy. You are part of a very great institution. At an individual level, please have your cover the way I explained to you. That is the best way I have structured for myself. So I thought what I think is good for me will be good for all my friends. And that's why I mentioned that to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Tapanji. In fact, our base policy covers hospital cash as well. And certainly we will be looking for a super top up. Yeah. Thank you.
So, Prakashji, shall I continue or you want to take another question?
Sir, you can continue because we are having most of the questions for the next session. So it's better to be.
Okay, so I will continue with the panel discussion. Tapan sir, the most talked about insurance policy as far as corporates today is concerned is the cyber policy, as you've also correctly mentioned, and Mrs. Sharma also does currently mention. So from your perspective, what is the kind of cover, the cyber cover right now, which the corporates have presently in terms of the penetration, and what are the coverages and affordability around that for corporates, and what do you recommend? Should the cyber policy be a part of their compulsory list, or should it be on an evaluation basis? The cyber policy.
Rajiv, it should be on compulsory list. I've seen cyber attacks happen. I've seen you're hearing all this ransomware and all. I have claims, and I can't give you names. It's actually happening, and those things are triggering at a very, very fast pace, which, let's say, 3 years back I never thought it's happening. We don't have a good cyber cover. If we don't have a good ransomware cover, please take it. Not only at corporate level, at individual levels also. We have a lot of claims which are getting triggered. So it's very critical. It may get too late, if you miss it, because again, you have all this event which is actually happening. So it's a good question, Rajiv. If I would recommend everybody at an individual level also, at a corporate level, to look at the cyber cover. Your insurance company will be able to help you, figure out what limits should be there. Normally, insurance companies don't give you an advice as such, because that's not their job to do. But indicative, they can tell you this is what other companies like you have taken. So this is something that you can decide to do. But please engage insurance companies for the cyber cover, and also ask for individual cyber cover also. It's actually critical. It's happening. It's not something which we are thinking will happen for the future. We have many claims, and we are actually seeing it happen now.
So talking about this,
Single sir, there is one question. Can I take it? There is one question, sir. Guide on loss of income, job, and support during disability.
Yeah, so if you look at loss of income or job, there are two things which is there. In a personal accident cover, which is again not very expensive, it's a very, very, how many of us would actually know that for a pure death cover on personal accident, the premium is for 1 lakh rupees, 45 rupees in a year. Can you imagine? It's just 45 rupees a year. No, it is that cheap. But obviously, we take an extended policies. You actually have in that per week payment, which triggers off for disability on that basis, which is particular part of the sum insured which is there. So you have a cover on the personal accident extension in which you can take this, which is not about job loss also. Even if you have job continuing on a per week basis of your disability, you have a compensation which gets paid off. So that would take care to a large extent. Even if you have a job loss, you don't have a job loss also, you still get paid, then money will trigger off. So it's not a very expensive cover. Ask for a personal accident and extended extension of the per week disability cover which is there. So you'll get that. Second, I think a lot of queries come to me on EMI for job losses. I think as a company, a lot of us provide that 3 EMIs or 4 EMIs if a job loss happens. And that was also there. Again, it's a very interesting thing. This product was always there even with the pandemic. Now companies are very cautious, in the current circumstances. But if somebody had this job loss cover, their EMIs, 3 months or 6 months EMIs were covered, if they lost a job for certain reasons.
Fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Singhal, for this piece of advice again. One more very prominent question comes up, in a lot of discussions is that, we keep on looking at this question as to what are the reasons for the lower penetration of a general insurance business, because we are in the general insurance topic. So why is India having a population of almost 450 crores and industry assets, so big industry assets everywhere. So why is the general insurance business so low, the penetration point of view? What could be the reasons? And from your perspective, what we as corporates or as chartered accountants should do and enable our clients, to bridge the gap or lower this gap of general insurance penetration in India?
It's a very good question and very close to my heart. I'll tell you why. So first, let me challenge the statement of low penetration. In terms of GDP, a lot of people talk about 0.8% GDP or 1% GDP. It actually is more from a perspective of the international way they look at it. If you look at it, in terms of number of lives covered, if you see it from that perspective, it's a very good penetration. I think quite a number of lives are covered by the insurance company. So I think we have to change the definition because a huge number of people get covered. As I told, as a company alone, I cover 11 crore Indians, which means that every 1 in 13 Indians are insured by me. Just one company, which is a huge penetration. A 20-year-old company, if it has 11 crore customers, you can imagine, and we have so many companies put together. So the penetration in terms of number of lives touched or covered, or let's say if I may say I cover 1 in 6 households, in every 6th household you'll have an insurance covered by Bajaj Insurance Company. So it's a very good penetration. The problem is when you look at a percentage of GDP, and that it has got two, numerator and denominator, and since chartered accountant you understand, if the economy is growing very fast, and then if the insurance free pricing happened in 2007, prices actually fell down. So most of you will be aware that the motor insurance fell down by 60-70%, the fire insurance fell down by 70-80%. So while you had the GDP moving up and the prices falling down, so that contradictory effect would have on the percentage basis. So that gives a wrong impression that penetration would be low. In terms of number of lives covered, I think it would be one of the very high penetration in terms of insurance company. But coming to the other point of it, why is that people are not adequately insured, and why don't they see insurance as something which is very interesting? Now, this has always been a challenge which I've been thinking. I'm a scientist by education. I would think that it's very funny. As I told you, for 1 lakh rupees of cover of accidental death, the premium is 45 rupees a year. In India, who can't afford 45 rupees a year? We are talking about what? 1.5 rupees a month, as premium. It is amazing. If you look at Corona cover, Corona cover is available. Now let's look at a phenomenal thing. People say awareness has to be there. All of us are aware that Corona can happen to anybody. Okay. Now all of us are aware that normal average cost of a Corona claim is 2 lakh rupees. If it happens to anybody, go to hospital. Average cost is 2 lakh. It can go up to 10 lakh, 15 lakhs, but average cost is 2 lakh rupees. Third, you'll be happy to know that the Corona policy is available for, let's say, 607 rupees a year, which means that we're talking of something like what, not even 20 rupees or 30 rupees, or 1 rupees, 2 rupees a day kind of, for this cover. And then it's also available without any underwriting. You go to any insurance company website, log in, 2 clicks, you get the policy. So ease of process is there, awareness is very high, and threat is very high, no underwriting, straight through process. So whatever you can think of, Rajiv.
For Corona, sir, you said, but we don't know, sir, because we got it for my brother and my bhavi. We paid 25,000 rupees. They both are about 60 years of age. We paid 25,000.
No, what's for hospitalization or for premium?
Sir, we paid for the premium.
That you took the health policy, sir, not pure Corona policy. You have pure Corona policy, sir, no?
No, I took pure Corona policy. I took only for that only for 6 months. For 6 months only, sir.
No. So then please send me a mail, sir. I have to look at it. Pure Corona policy doesn't cost. It's just about 607 rupees, sir. No.
They both are about 60 years of age.
So maybe
for 6 months, the insurance company, national insurance companies charge me 21,000 or 25,000.
No, it will not be a pure Corona product, sir. I can guarantee you on the price you're saying. They may have told you it's a Corona product, sir, but honestly, I can guarantee you it will be a full health policy. At 25,000 rupees, you'll get you a full health policy. Pure Corona products, it costs you very less and does not require underwriting, sir. No. So you send me an email. I know Tejinder, who's the MD for National. Luckily, I've been in the industry for a long time. I nearly know everybody, sir, in the industry. I can write to her also. Please send me a mail. I'll help you with it. But honestly, by what you tell me, it's a full-blown product, sir. A pure Corona
Mr.
product.
Singhal,
you go to any website.
Mr. Singhal, I also agree with you because I have also seen the premiums ranging about maybe 3,000 to 5,000 for a family of 5. I wanted to ask you one additional question. If our normal medical insurance cover is sufficient, like in my case, I have a 20 lakh base cover and a 60 lakh super top-up. If whether Corona treatment is also covered?
It's covered, sir. I'm just coming to a point which is different, sir. So you need not buy a Corona policy. It's just covered in that, sir. No? In India, we don't exclude Corona from the claims. So the point I'm trying to tell you is, sir, everything is so well covered, but look at the penetration. Now, 40 crores Indians are covered by national health scheme by the government, which is the below poverty line. The total number of lives covered by insurance companies is about 13 crores, which is 53 crores. In a population of 130 crores, about 70 odd crore people who can afford 2 rupees a month don't have an insurance cover for any kind of health cover. So, Rajiv, insurance company servers should be crashing, no? अगर 2 रुपए महीना का पॉलिसी लेना है, सिंगल जाओ, सर्वर पे जाओ, क्लिक करो, 2 क्लिक में कैन बाय अ पॉलिसी. Corona can happen to anybody. 70 crore Indians should be buying Corona cover. I'm not talking of poor people. That is covered by national scheme. I'm not talking of 13 crore Indians, like you who have cover. I'm talking 70 crore Indians who can afford, don't have it. Now, this is where the question comes in. Why is it that insurance penetration is low? Now, this is what we have to answer, Rajiv, to answer your question that you asked me. The issue is, and I asked a lot of people this question, and I'm not talking about the Corona right now, very early times. I see insurance products, amazing products, very well priced, exceptionally good benefits, and the claim gets paid is huge. Why is it so? So one of my psychologist friend told me this, and that's the answer to your question, Rajiv, that the human brain is not wired to see risks. No, as chartered accountants, you will differ because you are wired to see a lot of risks. But the normal human brain is not wired to see risks. Now, let me explain this to you also, and I can do it in a very simple term. When you were young means when you were in early 20s, the speed at which you rode your motorcycle, and today at what speed do you ride your motorcycle?
True.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the answer.
You did not care anything about risk. So the problem with insurance is it is very valuable for every one of us. It's an amazing product to buy. Any insurance company, everybody pays claim. The insurance industry's combined ratio is 120%, which means for every 100 rupees, they're selling 120 rupees now as an outgo. Amazing product, amazing coverage, very well priced, but we still don't buy it. It's to do with the way our brains are wired. Even as corporates, the way we look at it goes to last preference. Now, having said that, what is it required for people to understand? Like when I'm speaking to all of you, I guarantee you, most of you will go and look at Corona product right now. No, I guarantee you. It requires a conversation. So insurance is a conversational sale. It is not like e-commerce that you will buy on Amazon. It requires distribution of people who speak about it. And chartered accountants, to me, are the profession, at least for the corporate world, to speak about it. And that's why I'm here, Rajiv, when you invited me. I thought it's very, very critical to talk about this point. So it's a very good question, Rajiv. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, wonderful, Mr. Singhal. And we are really delighted the way you have explained, the psychological aspect as to why people are, there is a lower penetration in India as we grow up. So we think, and the mindset changes on the product. Another aspect, on the corporate side of insurance is the liability, which we have seen in the last 5 to 7 years. Personally, I've seen over the last 15 years, this space, the liability exposures onto India and to the corporates are on the rise. And whether we're talking about directors and officers liability or a cyber liability of late, or a product liability, or a PI, or an errors and omission, or a general commercial liability. Now, we wanted to understand, what would be your sense as to how important has this liability space become, and what are the kind of claims that you are seeing, as the head of Bajaj Allianz Insurance, as to what are the kind of claims coming in, A, and B, what are your advice and guidance for corporates and for chartered accountants like us as to how to look at this risk in the near term, and whether we should look at this like a fire product and make a compulsory buying in, or we should leave it as an evaluation basis.
So, Rajiv, there are 2 big audit firms, and I'll not talk of the names and not talk of the clients also, but you'll be aware. And my claims there is touching close to 1,000 crores on liability, for them, and they are covered by me, and I'm actually, paying that. Don't underestimate liability. Well, it is actually, again, like I always try to relate it first to your personal experience, and I talk of the corporate, because then you understand better. How many of us have 2-wheelers which is not insured? And we think it is not insured because kya hoga, even it falls also 2,000, 3,000 rupees, some bumper, some dent, we'll prepare it. Do we know that on a 2-wheeler in Gujarat, I have a claim of 15 crores of liability, the third party liability. Well, if the 2-wheeler kills somebody, mandated by law, you have unlimited liability. It's a 15 crore liability. Now, let's say the 2-wheeler is uninsured and one of us had that, we would still have a 15 crore judgment by the court on us as liability. So did we realize that our 2-wheeler, which is uninsured, and we don't bother about it, can have a 30 crore liability on us? imagine a company, auditors, you are hugely susceptible to liability. 1,000 crores, two claims each. I've already reached that. And you know the two big cases which happen in India. No, the claims are still on of two big audit firms. I'm paying that 1,000 crores. Yeah. Individual level, two-wheelers. So if you don't, I'm not insured your two-wheeler, thinking with 500,000 claim hoga, main dekh lunga kaun jayega insurance company mein. You are sitting on liability, you go to 30 crores to 100 crores also. Now, if your two-wheeler kills me, you're dead. You know, you have to pay something like crores. Yeah.
And that's a legal liability. That's a legal liability.
You can't back out. No, it's all legal. Liability is legal. That's what I say. As chartered accountants, if you don't have a cover, it is like you're. I don't know what words to use. For your company to cover, it is that important. It really goes to amounts you can't even imagine. No, you can't even imagine. So that's why I give example of two-wheeler. Did you ever imagine your two-wheeler can give you 30 crore claim on you as an individual? No, by the government of India.
Yeah.
No.
So I think that that is what
liability is. No?
That talks about what the importance of liability is in India, and I think the lot of our members who are listening us live now would definitely look at liability as one of the key important features that they should protect their balance sheets also, whether on an individual as a basis as a practicing chartered accountants, their firms, or while sitting in corporates. Thank you, Mr. Singhal. That was a wonderful piece of advice. And I'm sure many chartered accountants who are listening to us will definitely now look in their corporate risk profile liability as a must tick in product to bind alongside the fire and marine insurances.
I suppose, Rajiv says, still our members require a good food of thought to teach them that how they should take insurance, even how they should advise to their clients for insurance matters. We are having very, very less in knowledge, frankly speaking. We require lots of sessions on these topics, which are very, very essential, and particularly now in this digital area. Now, all firms, they are required to have coverage for their professional work also. That is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sanjeev ji, would you like to comment on this aspect, on the liability part?
Yeah, absolutely, Rajiv. I've been a very strong advocate of insurance. Personally, I've taken probably all types of insurance which an individual can take, right from a medical insurance to a super top-up to a household insurance policy to a mobile policy and the house building insurance. So I certainly believe that, and of course the term insurance. Many times people say, even for example, term insurance, that we will not get anything. So we should take a policy which will pay back at least our premium. I said, you think if you are not required to take it, think it as a blessing and think as a donation to someone who was not as fortunate as you were. So insurance certainly be taken. Of course, wow. I mean, and for the corporates are concerned, throughout my life for 15 years, I worked in the corporates. So insurance is a very, very integral part of cost. Rajiv, you were heading the insurance portfolio at Jubilant, where I was working with you. So certainly, I mean, the need of insurance, I will not be able to overemphasize, but certainly it is required. And to our members also, we are always in search for the better insurance product that we can offer. Currently, we have 6 insurance products, including professional indemnity, personal accident insurance, and the household insurance, medical insurance, etc. But of course, we would like to offer them more and more. So I'm a very strong proponent of insurance.
And one thing I would like to add, thank you, Sanjeev. One thing I would like to add after this liability, exposures that and the claims which Mr. Singhal had, said, the 2 big audit firms in India, they are, close to 1,000 crores of liability claims they have reached, and it's on an outgo basis. So I think that says it all. And on the liability piece, what small advice I can give to all the members over here is that liability is not like a fire product. Liability, although the product is available in India, and most of the private as well as the PS insurers are selling liability for more than 10 years in India now, but the understanding of liability to understand what kind of liability exposures you have on your balance sheet and off-balance sheet liability exposures, whether it is a DNO or a PI or a product liability or a cyber liability. It is very important to understand the exposures around liability and get hold of a good advisor, whether you're an insurer, a broker, or a consultant, who is going to guide you through and make sure that you have got the right kind of contract offered by various insurers who have the global wordings presently. Global RI wordings are available in India on the liability products, and it's a wonderful cover which is available. I have been advocating liability exposures and products and contracts for many of my clients, and I'm also glad that they have bought it, and the rains have come, and they are able to take good cover and good protection under those covers they have already opted under the liability. Wonderful.
So thank you very much, Mr. Singhal. I would like to request Prakashji to say a few words of word of thanks for both Rajivji and Tapanji, and our panelists, our tax guru, the guru of all, the Dr. Girish Ahuja sir has already joined, and we would now like to start this session. But before the session, please convey our sincere thanks from all of us, Prakash Bhai, to both Mr. Tapan Singhal and Rajiv Sen Gupta ji.
My first sincere thanks to you, Sanjeevji sir. You brought such wonderful speakers today for our members, and believe it, Sanjeev Bhai, it was eye-opening even for me. I had been a central auditor for New India Insurance Company for 4 years, and I used to think, I also, the way you said that I am taking lots of insurance, well, I am also taking lots of insurance, but I pay not less than 50,000 rupees yearly, and I don't know what insurance exactly I am taking. So these areas are very, very important for we members particularly, and particularly from last year, the way digital system has come in our profession, the way we are working in a technology side, we require lots of insurance for our advice for our clients as well as for our own office to cover our own risk. That is very, very important. I'm sincerely thankful to Tapanji as well as Rajivji sir, and we will definitely be bothering you again for informing our members. I think we are not able to inform our member that exactly in this session what type of knowledge we'll be going to give them. I will try to manage in such a way that members should know that exactly what kind of information we'll be sharing with them. So I'm very sure after that there will not be less than 25,000-30,000 people, because this is very, very important. This is very, very important thing, sir. So that's great. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Tapanji. It was a wonderful session. We really enjoyed your session. Like Prakashji said, he's an eye-opener for us. I too have insurance for 50 or 60 lakhs, but I don't know what type of insurance it is. You explained that we need to look into that also. We only look at the number, not the ingredients.
Yes.
So true. I would request, chairman and co-chairman, we can design going forward a specific product-related sessions also, where we can invite the industry experts and advisors on board to help the members on this, especially on the liability side of insurance, apart from health.
Absolutely. Yeah. Why not? We will work with Prakash Bhai, and we will certainly do it.
Definitely. Yes, sir. It will be a very grand help to our members.
Yeah. That can be exclusive session only on that. Yeah. Like Prakash Bhai said, we should tell the member what type of discussion is going to take place.
Yeah. Right.
That is very important.
Should be known to them.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And
thank you so much. All of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Friends, with this, now we move on to the second session of our program today. And already more than 2,260 members are watching it live. And we have our tax guru, our mentor, philosopher, and a friend, and all-time advisor, CA Dr. Girish Ahuja. And I've tried to follow him. You'll see some similarity. Sir is a commerce graduate from Shri Ram College of Commerce in 1965. I did it in 1994. Sir is an MCom from Shri Ram College of Commerce. I did from Delhi School of Economics, but in 2007. Sir is a PhD from Faculty Management Study, and our PhD gurus. Sir, after Sir completed his PhD, I joined under both of them. late Dr. V.K. Bhalla and Dr. Madhovich. Sir did a CA in 1970 and was a rank holder both in the intermediate and final exam. Many times people say that everyone know him, why to give an introduction? We don't introduce him to tell people about, no. It is to inspire people that where a member of our profession can reach, so that more and more people can take inspiration from his life. Sir has been nominated by the Government of India as member of task force which has redrafted the Income Tax Act. He is nominated by the Government of India as an independent director to the Central Board of Directors of SBI for 2 terms. He's also been nominated by the government with the approval of the Supreme Court on the board of the Unitech Limited. Presently, also is an independent director on the board of Ruchi Soya Industries Limited. And Swami Ramdev ji, on his 75th birthday, had such a deep appreciation for him. And the kind of now mastery which Ahuja sir is doing even in yoga. I mean, he is doing live session with Swami Ramdev ji. Hats off to him. He is probably the youngest member of our profession, because I cannot say anything, because sir says I am young and he is the youngest. The kind of energy he has, I will consider him to be the youngest member of our profession. He's also been a member of the high-powered committee which was constituted by the Government of India under the chairmanship of Justice A.P. Shah to look into the issue of applicability of MAT provision in case of foreign companies and the FIIs. And he is the co-author along with our Central Council government nominee, Dr. Ravi Gupta sir. He's a co-author of more than 25 books on direct taxation, and he's a living legend. So friends, I am so happy that Ahuja sir is once again among all of us, and the topic for today is taxation of private and charitable trust. Though sir has delivered lecture on this topic many times, but probably it is never enough. Every time we get something new to learn. So thank you so much, sir, for taking out time, and thank you so much for blessing all of us. And sir, the floor is all yours.
Sanjeev ji, before you situate mic to Ahuja साहब, सिर्फ 1 मिनट में बोलना चाहूंगा.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल बोलिए सर.
यंगेस्ट जो बात बोली आपने Ahuja साहब के लिए, सर मैं आपको मेरा एग्जांपल दूंगा. 1982 में मैंने सीए ज्वाइन किया, और मैं एक्चुअली बाय डिफॉल्ट सीए में आया हूं. मैं बैडमिंटन प्लेयर था, इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी से बैडमिंटन खेलता था. जब मैं मेरे बॉस के पास गया तो उन्होंने मेरे से पूछा, तुमने ऑडिट में क्या पढ़ा, इसमें क्या पढ़ा, उसमें क्या पढ़ा. मेरे को तो 1-2 सब्जेक्ट के नाम भी नहीं पता थे कि मैंने वो मेरे बीकॉम में पढ़ा है. उन्होंने कहा, मैं स्टाम्प पेपर पर लिख देता हूँ, तुम इस लाइफ में कभी सीए नहीं कर सकते. और मेरी ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट करके बोला, जाओ तुम यहाँ से. मैंने कहा, सर मैं यदि मेरा इंटरमीडिएट पास करूँ तो आप मान लोगे मैं सीए कर लूंगा. बोले, तुम फर्स्ट ग्रुप भी क्लियर कर लोगे तो मैं मान जाऊंगा तुम सीए कर लोगे. उस चैलेंज को लेके मैं भग के यहाँ दिल्ली आया. दिल्ली में आके ITU अपने जो इंस्टीट्यूट में जो अपनी ऑफिस है, और पीछे अपनी एक लाइब्रेरी हुआ करती थी 3rd फ्लोर पे, और 5th फ्लोर पे इनकम टैक्स की क्लास Ahuja सर लिया करते थे. वे बैक इन 1982 की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ सर. और जिसको कि इनकम टैक्स छोड़ के कुछ भी नहीं आता था, उस टाइम 2-3 ऐसे मेरे को गुरु मिले, जिसमें से खासकर टैक्सेशन वाज सच ए टिपिकल एंड डिफिकल्ट सब्जेक्ट फॉर अ पर्सन लाइक मी, जिसने कुछ किया ही नहीं हो, लाइफ लॉन्ग गेम्स खेले हो. इट वाज बिलीव करो संजीव सर, द वे ही टॉट मी. और ऐसे मेरे जैसे मैं सोचता हूँ कितने बच्चे होंगे, कितने लोग होंगे जो कि इनके साथ से पढ़ के निकले. एंड बेस्ट पार्ट ऑफ Ahuja जी इज, जो एनर्जी उसमें मैं उस टाइम देखता था, वो एनर्जी मैं आज भी इनमें देखता हूँ. That's hats off to Ahuja ji, the way he has served to our profession. That's great.
Sanjay, I'll just take the liberty. Either 1982 or 2022, it is the same energy.
It is higher. It is higher. Prasanna, it is higher. After 40 years, it is higher. And Prakash bhai, and to all the members, I can tell you, if I'm in the council, it is because of Dr. Giri. Yes, sir, please, sir.
About me. Please.
Please, sir.
Good evening to one and all. Chairman of the Committee for Members, C.A. Sanjeev Singhal ji, of course, from North India, of course. Prasanna Kamal ji, Vice Chairman of the Committee for Members in Practice. Prakash Sharma ji, Chairman of the BFSICS. Of course, we have with us Rajiv Sen Gupta ji, because I am seeing him I couldn't hear I'm sorry, sir, but I just joined only 5 minutes back. The people are appreciating about your lecture. I would have loved to listen to that, but I will ask Sanjeev to send me the link if it is possible. So I would also listen to that. It is always better to learn many things. So coming back. Now, the first thing, I've talked about charitable trust many times. Let me talk to you first. Private trust. Let me tell you, there can be two types of trust. One is charitable trust. That is a trust where the beneficiaries are public at large. Charitable trust means beneficiaries are public at large. Whereas private trust is beneficiaries are either your relative, friends, or somebody known to you, people which are related to you. I'm not using the word relative because the point is at one particular time, you could create a trust for the benefit of any person known to you. But now the law has changed. That's why I'm talking about relative. Now, private trust. I'll be taking charitable trust later, coming to private trust. You know, in a trust, whenever you create a trust, there is an author of a trust. There is a beneficiary of the trust. You appoint trustee of the trust. You know, this is the way you have to do it. You have to part with your asset to give it to a trust. Once you part with that asset, you don't remain any owner of that. And this please parting should be irrevocable. I'm using the word irrevocable means it cannot be a revocable transfer to a trust. If you are going for a revocable transfer, let me tell you, the entire income which the trust will receive will be clubbed in the hands of the, what you call, author of the trust or founder of the trust. Let me tell you. So please be careful. It has to be irrevocable trust. Number one. So what are you doing? You are giving your property to a trust which is going to be managed by the trustee. You can also be one of the trustee there. You can be also trustee for that, or you can appoint anyone as trustee. The trustee is there to look after the management of that trust. And whatever the income that is there will go to the beneficiary of the trust. The beneficiary can be minor. The beneficiary can be mentally challenged persons. Beneficiary can be person who are incompetent to contract, or beneficiary can be anybody. These days, the things, concept of private trust are different altogether. The first thing which people are keeping in mind for private trust is probably they are thinking inheritance tax may not come. If the inheritance tax there, let me tell you, Sanjeev ji, I remember in my days, there used to be a state duty tax. Estate duty was very high. When people used to inherit property from their parents, particularly immovable property, they had to pay tax ranging from 10% to 45%, and most of the time, and 45% the current value. So most of the time, they had to sell that property to pay the taxes. Lot of difficulties. I remember my father died on 17th May 1985, and estate duty was abolished in March 1885. So what really happened? We said, thank to our father, I inherited certain property where I was not put to any difficulty because we did not have to pay 1 penny tax. Otherwise, I tell you, the most difficult law in our direct tax was estate duty tax, which was abolished way back in 1985. People are thinking that inheritance tax may come again. Numerous were there. But so long as Mr. Jaitley was there, I told them nothing doing. It will never come. It will never come because he himself was a very rich man. And his children had to inherit that property. So I always used to tell them, don't bother at all, so long as he's there. But now he's not there. It does not mean the inheritance tax is coming. It does not mean. But people think that there may not be inheritance tax. And once it is inheritance tax, you have to pay a huge amount of tax for passing of the estate to the legal heir or to the person you have given under a will. So that is the point which was always a consideration. But now, please note, law has completely changed about, there can be two trusts. One is called trust created during the lifetime of the person. The another is trust created by will. That is testator creates a will that after my death, such and such property will go to that such and such trust. That is trust created by will, by testamentary document. That, of course, is after death trust, and this is lifetime trust. If I want to create a trust, I have to give the property unequally without keeping any right to a trust. Sanjeev ji, that's sunne wali baat. Earlier, I could give the property to a trust, irrevocable, no doubt, any kind of a trust. Now the law has changed. From 1st April 2017, an individual can create a trust. Only individual can create a trust only for the benefit of his relative. If anybody else create a trust, not for the benefit of relative, and if it is a private trust, let me tell you, the entire corpus which I'm going to give to the trust shall be fully taxable in the hands of the trust. For example, I say, I give 5 crore to the trust, maybe in the form of money, maybe in the form of asset. If I have created, if I'm an individual and I have created that trust for the benefit of my relative, absolutely no problem. The money which I have given to the trust, 5 crore rupees, will not be taxable in the hands of the trust. First thing, I'm talking about the principal amount, will not be taxable. Now that money, from that money, whatever income is earned, that is meant for beneficiary. How will they be taxed? That is a secondary issue. But what I'm trying to explain, please, now you are not allowed to create a trust for person other than your relative. If you create a trust for person other than your relative, and suppose I give that 5 crore, the entire amount of the money received by the trust shall be fully taxable in the hands of the trust. I'm not talking about the income. I'm talking about the corpus which I'm giving.
Corpus. Sir,
so be careful.
Sir, in this definition of the relative, whether family member like
the
son,
daughter, is a very large. The same definition which is given under section 56(2)(10) that I can create a trust for my wife, I can create a trust for my brother, I can create a trust for my sister, I can create a trust for my spouse, brother, sister, I can create a so very big definition of the relative. Even uncles, aunts, nephews, all are included in that. That definition is given under 56(2)(10). The way you can take the gift from them, similarly you can give the benefit to them. But this has to be created only by individual, sir. Only by individual. पहले corporate houses बड़े trust बनाते थे. वो different kind of trust थे. अब नहीं बना सकते. नहीं. अब individual ही create कर सकता है. बनाने में मना नहीं है. Tax तो देना पड़ेगा ना trust को. तो फायदा क्या हुआ corpus को? Now, individual can give it to a trust. I gave 5 crore, 10 crore, 20 crore to my trust. Let me tell you, whatever I have given to my trust for the benefit of my relative, it is not taxable in the hands of the trust. Now, the question which will now come is, it is lifetime trust. Please note, it is lifetime trust. Sanjeev ji, मैं एक और चीज कहता हूँ. जो question आए ना, please keep asking simultaneously. Because that is the point where they Mr. Toki, I saw one hand raised by Mr. Rajiv Sen Gupta. So please ask me the question. Unmute him, sir.
Yeah, sir. Sir, मैं कह रहा था individual की definition में क्या होगा, sir? Who can be defined as an individual?
Human being.
नहीं, मतलब he has to be
male or
resident,
female.
Resident and ordinary. Okay.
Male or female. Individual is male or female. Or so nobody else is.
So regarding residential status, nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. You are a non-resident. You are creating a trust in India. You are giving to the trust in India. I have no problem. I have no problem. Provided it is created by an individual. The beneficiaries are the relative. Then only the amount which a trust receives from that person, that is founder or the author of the trust, will not be taxable, but will not be taxable in the hands of the trust. Earlier तो हम किसी को भी दे सकते थे, corporate houses बनाते थे, लेकिन अब सिर्फ relative के लिए, lifetime के लिए, क्या ना lifetime के लिए, राजीव जी, after will I can give it to anybody. After will inheritance is not taxable. So after will I can create for the benefit of any person. Any person, whether related to me or not, but that is after my death. Trust created by testamentary document is that it will be created only after my death. So my property, if given after my death to anyone directly or the trust, doesn't make any difference. वो अलग है, उसमें माफ है. ये during the lifetime में restriction आई है. Why this restriction has come? So people were misusing this to avoid two things. One, they used to take money from a bank, loans from bank, and they wanted to transfer their individual asset to a trust so that nobody can recover that money from the trust. This was one point also. People were creating a trust, transferring their wealth to a trust. अब तो वैसे भी खतरनाक हो गया है. देखिए, once you have given a personal guarantee to the bank, let me tell you, ये public sector bank गलती करते हैं. If I have given guarantee to the bank for after taking a loan, personal guarantee, mind it, I cannot sell that asset without the permission of the bank. I cannot create a trust of that asset without the permission of the bank. ये लोग कर देते हैं और पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक वाले सोए रहते हैं, प्राइवेट वाले बड़े तेज. No, every year they take your assets and liabilities. And if you have to transfer any asset and liability, whether to a trust or you want to sell it, you have to take a prior permission of the bank. It is a different story. They may give the permission if the guarantee money, if the amount of loan and the personal assets are huge difference in that. But otherwise, it is wrong. You cannot create a trust if you have given any personal guarantee to the bank. If you have to create that trust, please note, you will have to take a permission of the bank to create a trust. Is this clear, sir? Or कोई question तो नहीं है संजीव जी?
Sir, there is a question whether a religious trust formed under the Bombay Trust Act will be considered as a private trust or
absolutely not. That is Bombay Public Trust. Bombay Welfare Trust पर religious trust can, if a religious trust is for benefit of individuals, उसकी तो income भी exempt नहीं होती. Only charitable and religious trusts who have got registration not only in Bombay Public Welfare Trust, they should also get them registered under the Commissioner of Income Tax Exemption. And if they are not registered under the income tax exemption, then whatever money this trust receive will be fully taxable in the hands of the trust, even if it is charitable, even if it is religious. अरे सर मैं बता रहा हूं 90% इंडिया में संजीव जी temples, gurdwara, mosques, churches are not registered with the income tax department. I'm talking about income tax department. I'm not talking about anything else. And if they are not registered, Prasanna Kumar ji, if they are not registered, the entire amount which they receive as donation without consideration, maybe in the form of money, maybe in the form of assets, maybe in the form of immovable property, shall be fully taxable in the hands of the trust under section 56, subsection 2, clause 10. Prior to 1st April 2017, position was different. That time, it was not taxable. But on or after 1st April 2017, if a person received from any other person or person a sum of money exceeding 50,000 or any immovable property without consideration whose value is above 50,000 or a movable property whose aggregate value is more than 50,000, the entire amount received by the trust, which is not registered, whether it is charitable or religious, shall be fully taxable. I'm talking about shall be, or even 1 rupee will not be allowed as deduction. They may say that I've received the money, I've spent that money for charity, or I've spent the money for religious purposes. I've given the salary to the pujaris, nothing doing. Gross amount will be taxable under section 56 to 10. So one has to be very careful about
that. Yes, sir. So there are so many. One question is that what about the corpus after the relative for whom it was created? If the or the beneficiary is no more alive.
When you create a trust, then only you think of. When you create a trust, there is always a dissolution clause there. Private trust. Yes. It is like, suppose I've created a trust for my minor. And I say after they become major, the trustee will hand over the property to the major. There can be a trust like this, that I am giving this property for a trust, irrevocable, I'm telling you, for the benefit of such and such person. In the event of his death, the property can come back. That is irrevocable. That is irrevocable till the death of a person. What I'm trying to say, we always say that this, if there is only one beneficiary, and if he is major, the trust can be closed any time without permission, because he is the only beneficiary. What is the trustee doing? He is a major, he can take everything. Ultimately, what is the trustee doing? Managing the affair of the trust, for which, whose benefit? Single beneficiary, and single beneficiary major, he can close that trust anytime. Private trust I'm talking about, not public. And if there are more than one beneficiary, once the objects are achieved, once a particular life is attained, अरे सर आपने तो बड़ी पिक्चरें देखी हैं, संदीप सिंगल जी और अजीत जी ने भी देखी होगी. क्या होता है कि बच्चे छोटे होते हैं, भगवान को डर लगता है कि मैं एक ट्रस्ट क्रिएट कर देता हूं और उस पर ट्रस्टी बना देता हूं. और ट्रस्टी किसको बनाता हूं? जो मेरा साला है या मेरी जीजा है. आपने राम शाम देखी थी, प्राण हमेशा ट्रस्टी होता था हर पिक्चर में उसमें लिखा जाता था, so long as my child is does not complete the age of 21, the property will remain with the trust and the Quran will look after the trust. And once the person crosses 21, how the trust will be closed and the benefit, the entire money will be given to the beneficiary. और प्राण क्या करता था? 21 साल से पहले उसको क्राइमेक्स में मारने की कोशिश करता था. Have you seen or not? ये एक पिक्चर में नहीं है, हजारों पिक्चर में है. वो he used to try to kill that person, and ultimately climax में प्राण used to be killed and property used to. पर climax हमेशा ही अच्छा होता है, वो तो हमारी पिक्चरें ऐसी है. तो ये वही कॉन्सेप्ट है ट्रस्ट का. बेनिफिशियरी कौन होता था? माइनर और ए पर्सन हु इज नॉट कैपेबल, और अप टू 21 तक उसको कहते थे. बात 18 तो बाद में हुआ, 21 तक वो जब तक है या उसकी तब तक तो प्राण देखेगा, और उसके बाद ये क्लोज करके उसको दे. अब तो समझ में इजीली आ गया होगा.
यस सर, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
इजीली आ गया होगा क्या होता है. यस और क्या होता है. देखिए ट्रस्टी कौन होते हैं? जिसमें यू हैव द ग्रेट ट्रस्ट. ग्रेट. और कौन होता है मेनली? या तो होता है साला या होता है जीजा. और ये साले जीजा ही मरवाते हैं बाद में. जितना क्लोज उतना ही खतरनाक. इट इज अ मैटर ऑफ मनी विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो खाले जीजे कई बार सो ट्रस्ट में मिसट्रस्ट बड़ी जल्दी हो जाती है. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल अपॉइंटिंग ए ट्रस्टी, बिकॉज ट्रस्टी इज नॉट द ओनर. ट्रस्टी इज ए पर्सन हु हैज टू be very fair, honest, look after the interest and earn the income on behalf of the beneficiary and give that money today or at a later stage to the beneficiary. अरे असली ट्रस्ट तो वही होते थे जो हम मेंटली चैलेंज के लिए बना देते थे, माइनर के लिए बना देते थे. ये तो बाद में कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया सबके बनाने, क्योंकि टैक्स सेविंग का था. लेकिन टैक्स सेविंग में भी अभी आपको बताऊंगा कुछ ज्यादा फायदा नहीं अभी. ओके,
फिड्यूशियरी इंटरेस्ट होना चाहिए ट्रस्टी का एज अ फिड्यूशियरी.
अब देखिए, ट्रस्ट कैन बी टू टाइप्स. प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट कैन बी टू टाइप्स. वन इज कॉल्ड स्पेसिफिक ट्रस्ट. स्पेसिफिक ट्रस्ट और which is means the beneficiaries and their share are also defined. That these are the beneficiaries A, B, C, D. Beneficiary means ultimately किसको वो पैसे जाते? A, B, C, D. Who will earn that money? Trustee will earn that money on behalf of the trust, and whenever after paying tax will give that benefit to the beneficiary. कौन है सर? Beneficiary defined and ratio also defined. किस रेशो में बटना है? And beneficiary determined. Already decided. A, B, C, D. Ratio 30%, 20%, 20%, 10%. ये सब डिसाइड कर दिया, फिक्स कर दिया कि ये प्रॉपर्टी से जो इनकम आएगी इस रेशो में बटेगी और इनको जाएगी. These called specific trust. दूसरा होता है सर डिस्क्रिशनरी ट्रस्ट. डिस्क्रिशनरी नाम से ही पता लग रहा है. Either the beneficiaries are not defined, or the ratio of share is not defined, or both are not defined. The discretion has been given absolutely to the trustee. He says, I have 3 sons. The discretion is to the trustee. हो सकता है एक को अब्रॉड पढ़ने जा रहा है, उसके लिए बेनिफिट दे दे, दूसरा कपूत है, उसको बेनिफिट ना दे, ये ट्रस्टी डिसाइड करेगा. समझ में आ रहा है? ट्रस्टी, डिस्क्रिशनरी ट्रस्ट. द डिस्क्रिशन इज with whom? The discretion is with the trustee. Who is very close to you, who is very confident of you, उसको डिस्क्रिशन दे दिया कि भैया तेरी मर्जी है. किसका? हाँ, अगर एक ही बेनिफिशियरी है तो स्पेसिफाइड हो गया सर. Rajiv ji, if there is only one beneficiary, that means 100% has to go to him. So where is this share defined? But if there are more than one beneficiary, and if the share of the beneficiary is defined, and the name of the beneficiaries are also there, then only it is called specific trust. Otherwise, if the beneficiaries are not defined, or their share is not defined, or both are not given, it is discretionary. Sir, कई बार ये भी हो जाता है ना, आप ये कहते हैं, I have 3 children. And there is a child in the womb of the mother. Now, you don't know whether the child will be born alive or child will be born still. So, इस केस में हम उसको specific trust नहीं कहते. And we don't know. उसको condition लगा देते हैं, तो वो हो सकता है कि वो born होगा तो उसको इतने % शेयर देते हैं. ठीक है, वो भी हो सकता है. But normally, discretionary trust, the discretion is given to whom? To the trustee to utilize that money after paying tax the way he wants to do it. And we do write in that after a certain period of time, the trust will be dissolved. And if it is dissolved, what will happen? Correct, sir? So 2 types of trust. One is called specific trust and another is called, जब भी आप trust आएंगे, हमारे पास Indian Trust Act 1882 लगता है. प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट को इंडियन ट्रस्ट एक्ट लगता है, पब्लिक चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट को नहीं लगता ये, लेकिन प्राइवेट ट्रस्ट को हमारा ये बता दूं इंडियन ट्रस्ट, और ये लॉफुल पर्पस के लिए होना चाहिए. डिसोल्यूशन भी का प्रोविजन भी होना चाहिए, इररिवोकेबल होना चाहिए. अगर आप रिवोकेबल बनाएंगे तो जितना भी पैसा उससे इनकम आएगी वो टैक्स लग जाएगी इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द ऑथर हु हैज ट्रांसफर्ड दैट प्रॉपर्टी विद कीपिंग. रिवोकेबल मतलब keeping a right to retransfer that property, keeping a right to reassume the power in that property, keeping a right, वो वाली. एक बार आपने दे दिया तो आपके पास कोई पावर नहीं. That is called irrevocable. That is called irrevocable trust. Now I am coming to Sir Prasanna Kumar ji, taxation of private trust. We have 2 sections that are important. One section is section 161. Section 161 talks about a private trust where the share of the beneficiary and the beneficiaries are, where the beneficiaries are determinate and the share also defined. That is called private trust, which is specific trust. Share defined, beneficiaries defined. Another is called discretionary trust. For that we have section 164, subsection 1. 164, subsection 1. Let me tell you what is the trustee. In income tax, trustee is known as representative assessee. In income tax, the trustee is known as representative assessee. He is representing the beneficiaries. He is representing the beneficiary. He is not representing the author. Author is out. He is representing the beneficiary. Yes, author can himself be a trustee. No problem. But not for his own benefit. It is benefit of other person, relative. So, I said you have a trust where trustee is there and beneficiaries are defined. And we call the trustee in income tax as representative assessee. क्या कहता है 161? Every representative assessee, as regards the income for which he is a representative assessee, shall be subject to same duties, same responsibilities, same authorities which he could have as if he has received the income, as if the income is accrued to him, as if he is the beneficiary. Although he is a representative assessee, he is representing the income on behalf of the beneficiary, but for the purpose of income tax, we'll say you are representative assessee and you are subject to same duties, same responsibilities, same authority, which could have been there if the income has been received by you, or income has accrued to you, or you are the beneficiary. But wait, he will be taxed in representative capacity, because he may have his own income. That is a separate thing. He will be taxed in his representative capacity in his own name, but he is representing the beneficiary on account of that. So what will happen? Suppose, Prasanna Kamarji, there are 3 beneficiaries, and their share is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, or their share is 40%, 30%, 30%. Share defined, beneficiary defined. Now, if there is only one beneficiary, the trustee, the representative assessee shall file return on behalf of the beneficiary, if he is going to 100%, and he will be taxed in his own name, but the tax rate of tax, the benefit, the exemption, the deduction which the beneficiary could take, that will be allowed, because he is filing a return not in his own name, he is filing a return on behalf of the beneficiary. But who will pay tax? Not the beneficiary. The tax will be paid by the trustee, filing a return on behalf of the beneficiary. But suppose there are 10 beneficiaries, the trustee will have to file 10 returns if the shares are defined. If there are 4 beneficiaries, the trust will file 4 returns, but those returns are in representative capacity. Although he will be assessed in his own name, but he will be representing them, and he will be having a right to recover the tax from that income, and thereafter can distribute that income to the beneficiary. So what is the role? He is taxed in the same manner, to the same extent which the beneficiary would have been taxable. But wait here, very important point. We will ask a question: is that trust is carrying on a business or not carrying on a business? Defined. Carrying on a business, not carrying on a business. The trust is not carrying on a business, and beneficiaries are defined. Their share defined. Trust is not carrying on a business. Sir, the liability of the tax will be, if you will be filing a return on behalf of each beneficiary, and the rate of tax applicable shall be the same that would have been applicable in the hands of the beneficiary. The same amount of allowance, same exemption, same deduction, which could have been allowed to beneficiary, will be allowed to the trustee filing a return on behalf of beneficiary. Each beneficiary, sir. 5 beneficiary, 5 sir. और वो 5 बेनिफिशियरी को जो डिडक्शन एग्जेम्पशन मिलनी है सेपरेट मिलेगी. लेकिन एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है. द क्वेश्चन इज, you are liable for 250,000 exemption because the beneficiaries are individual. And when the beneficiaries are individual, they will seek exemption. The trustee will file a return on behalf of beneficiary and will ask for an exemption of 250,000. What will happen if the beneficiary have their own income also? There is a possibility the beneficiary is of a trust, and thereafter the beneficiary in individual capacity is also earning income. But how can you take a benefit of 250,000 separately 2 times? One, the trustee taking a benefit on behalf of beneficiary. Another, the beneficiary himself filing a return of his income cannot take. In that case, we have section 166, where the AO has been given a power to assess the beneficiary directly instead of taxing it through the trustee. When he is going to be taxed directly, automatically his income, personal income and share of the income from trust will come, and on the aggregate amount, he will have to pay tax. Are you getting my point, sir? Are you getting my point? This is 166 section, which talks about direct assessment on the beneficiary instead of the trustee. Normally, they do it only when they find it that the beneficiary has his individual income also, and the beneficiary is getting a share of income from the trust also. So how do you tax it? Because the rate applicable is the slab rate, And in the case of slab rate, first 2,50,000 nil, next 2,50,000 5%, next 2,55,000 10%. So he will be also taking that benefit. So to avoid that, they do. But I have given an example that in this case, the trust is not carrying on any business. Now, suppose you have created a trust and that trust is also carrying on business. Means the trust income includes business income as well. Now, even if it is a specified trust, sir, it is taxable at maximum marginal rate. The entire income, no question of taxing each beneficiary. Entire income of each beneficiary taxable at maximum marginal rate, which is 37.74%. That is 30% plus 37% surcharge plus 4% education tax. It is called maximum marginal rate. If the trust is carrying on a business, so please note that applicability will be, even if you are checking the separate trustee, each trustee return is filed by the trustee, but they will be taxed on that income at maximum marginal rate, which is 37.74%. Clear, sir? Clear, sir? Now, there is one exception. If there is a trust created by the will for the support and maintenance of the relative dependent on him, and that is the only trust created by will by the author, then in that case, even if that trust is carrying on a business, it will be taxable at normal rate. It will be taxable at, are you getting my point? Like, even if business income there, it will be taxable at rate applicable to beneficiary. Only one exception. Trust created by will for the support and maintenance of a relative, and it is the only trust declared by him, no other trust. By will. In that case, trust will form only after the death. By will, it is only after the death. And if the shares are defined, even if the trust is carrying on a business, we will be taxing them the same rate as applicable to individual. But if it is not created by will, or it is that case, it is taxable at maximum marginal rate. Clear, sir? Clear, sir? This is section 161, where the share defined, number 1, does not include business income. Number 2, include business income. Number 3, although includes business income, but there is a trust created by the will for the support and maintenance of relative dependent on him, and it is the only trust declared by him. Clear, sir? Now we come to section 164.1. It is a discretionary trust. Sir, it is a discretionary trust. Entire discretion is with the trustee. Whatever way he distributes this income of that trust for the benefit of the beneficiary. Beneficiaries may be present, beneficiary may be future also. They be right. Beneficiary, you have said, today there are 4 beneficiaries, but when they get married, even their wife will be beneficiary. When they have their children, they will also be beneficiary. You are writing in the trust. Or if the child is born, there will be also beneficiary. My point is, if the trust is for and not carrying on a business, still, sir, maximum marginal rate. If it is discretionary, maximum marginal rate. But wait. There are certain exceptions. Exception number 1, where maximum marginal rate will not be applicable, normal rate will be applicable. Exception number 1, none of the beneficiary has individual income exceeding the maximum marginal limit. That is, none of the beneficiary has income more than 2,50,000. 2, none of the beneficiary is a member of any other trust. 3, this trust is created before 1st of March 1981. That trust created, or there is a trust created by will. In this case, there will be only normal rate of income tax applicable to trust. Otherwise, in all the cases, whether the trust is carrying on a business or not, you will have to pay tax at the maximum marginal rate. Now, second case, trust is carrying on business. Sir, if the trust is carrying on a business, the entire income of the trust will be taxable at maximum marginal rate. Maximum marginal rate. What is the maximum marginal rate? 30% into 37% into 4%. So 37% the surcharge, 4% education tax, 30% the rate of income. But wait. If the trust is created by the will and it is for the support and maintenance of the relative, and it is the only trust created by the will, in that case, we can tax that trust even if carrying on a business, even if it is discretionary, at slab rate applicable to trust. Slab rate is same, which is applicable to individual. So this is section 164, subsection 1. I may be having lot of questions for private trust. So, sir, ask me those questions before I proceed for anything else.
Sir, there are some questions which have come so far. Whether private trust enjoy any benefits over public trust?
Pardon me?
Whether private trust enjoy any benefits over public trust for managing family wealth?
No, not at all. For managing family wealth, it is a private trust. It is not public at large. Charitable trust or religious trust is for public and large. And once you have given that money to them, it is not for your benefit or anybody else. It is for the public benefit. And if it is dissolved, you have to donate that money to another trust. You cannot take back that money. Let me tell you. So no question.
Sir, the second question, in case of private mandir trust of one community, whether mandir construction fund collected and deposited in bank rupees 50 lakhs in first 2 years and expense in next 5 years.
Again, repeating my dear sir, prior to 1st April 2017, the position was different. After 1st April 17, is it a private mandir or it is enduring benefit? Public
mandir.
Private. Huh?
Private mandir.
Sir, private mandir है sir, private.
अगर private मंदिर है तो 1/4/2017 के बाद तो आप क्रिएट ही नहीं कर सकते. और 1/4/2017 के बाद अगर प्राइवेट मंदिर को डोनेशन देंगे, बिफोर 1/4/17 वाज डिफरेंट. अगर 1/4/2017 के बाद जो भी डोनेशन उनके पास आएगी मोर देन 50,000, fully taxable in the hands of the private trust. No expense allowed. No expense allowed. कोई immovable property देंगे fully taxable. कोई expense नहीं मिलेगा. सिर्फ आप जो exemption है वो है charitable or religious trust which are registered under section 12A or under 1023C. बाकी कोई भी ट्रस्ट अब को पैसा आएगा. पहले तो सिर्फ इंडिविजुअल होता था, ये सेक्शन बदल चुका है 56(2)(10). अब एनी पर्सन, वर्ड सुनिए क्या है, वेयर एनी पर्सन रिसीव फ्रॉम एनी अदर पर्सन a sum of money exceeding 50,000 in aggregate without any consideration, the whole amount shall be taxable in the hands of the recipient. Who is the recipient here, sir? Private trust. The complete amount will be taxable in the hands of that private trust. Gone are the days. Before 1st April 2017, it was allowed. After 1st April 2017, nothing doing unless it is registered charitable or religious trust. Clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, these are the only questions, sir. Maybe some more questions may come. That will take up later, sir. Private trust. Yes.
So, in a very nutshell, I have given you everything about the private trust. How do you form? Sabko malum hai. But how do you pay tax? Wo nahi malum tha. That I have given you section 161 plus section 164(1). 161 talks about, I said, where it is a specific trust. Section 164(1), where it is a discretionary trust. And I have given you one more thing, representative assessee. The trustee or representative assessee, they have to file their return on behalf of the trust and they have to register themselves in the portal of the income tax as representative assessee. Then only they can file the return on behalf of the trust. Clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Coming back. Now we have a concept of charitable and religious trust. Bombay Public Welfare Trust is there. In Gujarat also there. But in Delhi or other places, we do not have any control except Charity Commissioner is there. But let me tell you, the trust will get the benefit, whether it is charitable or religious, only when it is registered with the income tax department. They get registration. If they are not registered, any amount which this charitable trust will receive, which is unregistered, shall be fully taxable in their hand at the maximum marginal rate. Please note the word, at the maximum marginal rate. Gone are the days. So please, if you are trying to have a charitable trust, you need to have a trust deed, or you can form a society under the Society Registration Act, or you can form Section 8 company. These are the three constitutions of charitable or religious trust. Once you have formed that, please, you have to apply for registration. First, you have to register yourself under the Trust Act or under the Charity Commissioner, or you have to register under Society Registration Act, or you have to register under MCA Section 8 company. After that, sir, you have to apply for registration, and the form for registration is Form 10A, new Form 10A. When you apply for registration, they will ask the details of your name of the trust, address and number. They will ask for your trust deed. They will ask for name of the authors, trustee, everything. And you have to fill up the Form 10A anytime this year. From future year, 1 month before the creation of the trust. This year, anytime you can file, you will get the registration for the whole year. But let me tell you, sir, the registration which you are going to get is going to be provisional registration for a period of 3 years. It is going to be provisional registration, not a regular registration. First time registration is going to be provisional registration. And mind it, if the trust was created before current year, and you have not got yourself registered of the earlier year, while filling up the form, you will have to give the financial statement of the past 3 years also. And you may get notice for reassessment also if you have not filed the return of income, because they were fully taxable. So my point is, new trust created, apply under Form 10A, you will get registration provisional. Old trust, but not earlier registered, filing for first time registration, they can file it under Form 10A, but they will have to, along with the other documents, they will have to close or your file what you call financial account of, if it is in existence for 1 year, only 1 year, in existence for 2 years, 2 years, in existence for 3 years, 3 years, in existence for more than 3 years, you have to file statement for 3 years. 3 years. Yes, sir.
So, गिरीश जी, जो हमारी ट्रस्ट ऑलरेडी इन ऑपरेशन है, जिनके पास 12A का रजिस्ट्रेशन है, they have also to re-register themselves.
I know. I'm coming to that. I have given about 60 lecture on that, sir. Wait a minute. Now, I am responsible for that. When we were redrafting the law, Mr. Rajiv, what really happened is, many people had told me that, sir, we have registration with us, but we do not have registration certificate with us. Either it has been lost, misplaced, or it is torn and it is not in the file. Whenever there is a scrutiny comes, they ask for registration certificate in original. They don't say registration is there, but give us registration certificate. And sir, we were registered 40 years back, we were registered 50 years back or 20 years back. We don't know, the trustee has changed. We do not know where the funds are. And if you go to income tax department to ask for a copy of the certificate, it is also not available with them, because they also don't have a record of so long period. So I told them, do one thing, let every registered trust. Now, Rajiv ji, suniye, let every registered trust apply once more for re-registration. for re-registration. That should be a very simple application. Don't ask any question. Give them registration, which will be alphanumeric digital alphanumeric number, which cannot be lost. You will be also having a record. I will be also having a record. And don't ask any question. Let them apply once for all. This is what I suggested. And it was not bad. But I didn't know कि जाएंगे ईद मनाने रोजे गले पड़ जाएंगे. मुझे ये नहीं पता था. मैंने तो कहा था अप्लाई कर दीजिए मिल जाएगा. और जो रजिस्ट्रेशन होता है वो परमानेंट होता है. लेकिन now the registration which you will get, re-registration, I'm using the word re-registration, will be valid for a period of 5 years. Will be valid for a period of 5 years. And you will have to apply for renewal of registration. This is re-registration. That will be renewal of registration at least 6 months before the expiry of the period of 5 years. You will have to apply for every 5 years. You will have to apply for renewal of registration. And at the time of renewal registration, you will be asked many questions. You will be asked all the details which they are asking normally for a new trust. वो re-registration के लिए मैंने नहीं कहा था. अब क्या है? आपको 30 जून तक अप्लाई करना है फॉर्म 10A में. कोई मुश्किल काम नहीं है. आपको क्या देना है? उसमें रोज है. When you fill up form 10A, there are rows. Row 1 will be PAN number. You have to give the PAN number because you have the PAN number. Re-registration का हो रहा है. When you put your PAN number, there will be auto-filled column there. There will be name of the trust. There will be assessment year. There will be what you call address of the trust and that. If you have any change, please make the changes. Allowed to do it. Allowed to do the changes. After that, they will be asking you, what is your type of activity? Whether you are charitable, religious, or you are only religious. You have to tell them. Religious, charitable, religious. You have to tell them what is your constitution. Constitution is either you are Section 8 company, you are society registered under Society Registration Act, or you are registered under trust. Give all the detail and also the copy of all those documents with the registration number, date of incorporation, the number of the company, the registration certificate of that. You have to give that also. That is also there. They will ask you whether this trust is irrevocable or not. It is asking for only trust, not for others. You have to give an undertaking. It is irrevocable. But by chance, if it is not irrevocable, they are also at fault. Because in the past, how are they giving you benefit if it was not irrevocable? You just pass a resolution of a trustee and file that resolution along with that and get the trust deed changed later on. आपसे कोई अकाउंट्स नहीं मांगेंगे. 10 section item number 10 में लिखा है row number 10 that please have you filed your return of income of the past assessment year for which the due date has expired. If you say yes, no accounts. If you say no, all accounts. And when you are new one, no accounts if you have applied immediately, only 1 month, 2 months account. But if you are already there, they can ask you account for 3 years. But in the case of new, it is provisional registration and you have to apply for regular registration within 6 months of the commencement of the charitable activity, or at least 6 months prior to the expiry of 3 years. That is for provisional registration. And those who have to apply for re-registration, absolutely nothing. File those documents, you will get registration. But unfortunately, people have applied and computer is a big donkey. It has given provisional registration for 5 years. That provisional registration is absolutely wrong. It has to be regular registration for 5 years. And I have already spoken to them. They say we will rectify this defect and give them the regular certificate, those who are already having re-registration. Those who are having first registration, that is provisional registration. Absolutely no problem. Ask the question.
Sir, what about the change in the constitution of the trust? If there is any change, the trust is registered. Now, change in the constitution means the trustees have changed. The
No
trustees,
problem.
the board of trustees.
So the trustee keep on changing. You have a trust deed which has clearly mentioned if the trustee dies, who will be the trustee? How will you appoint the trustee? It is already given there. You have to give the name of the current trustee, author, current trustee. Absolutely no problem. Original trustees are not there. So there is no problem at all. Absolutely no problem. You have to file 10A. And please note, once provisional registration is received, if it is new and you have started the activity, within 6 months you have to apply under form number 10AB for for regular registration. That is 10AB. So far it is 10A. Thereafter it will be 10AB. So, questions, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, questions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whether we can apply for re-registration of charitable trust for the financial 2021, which have become inoperative due to both registrations under 1023C.
Wait a minute, sir. There are people who have both registration under 1023C as well as 12A. They have both. Now they have said decide one. Which one you want? If you go for 1023C, then 12A will be kept inoperative. Inoperative. No need to apply. The 10A will become inoperative. Go to 1023C. And later on you feel that I have taken a wrong decision. Okay, apply for under 12A, 10AB. Inoperative will become operative. The moment inoperative becomes operative, your 1023C will be cancelled. The approval under 1023C is cancelled. Vice versa is not good. From 12A, you cannot shift to 1023C. From 1023C, you can shift to 12A. Clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, next question. Form 10AC, only provisional registration is granted for 5 years, though renewal is it correct? This
sir, they have given wrong provisional registration for 5 years. It is wrong. Yes, it will be rectified. I told you. They have committed a mistake. Are a computer to gada hai, donkey hai. Whatever you fed in there, that will come out. So you are wrong to feed that thing. Now they are rectifying that and they will get normal registration for a period of 5 years. Provisional is absolutely wrong. Provisional is only for new trusts. New one. New.
Yes.
Aji,
yes, sir. Garbage in, garbage out.
Rajesh wants something, give him an opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Because he has talked to you about 1.5 hour time and he should be given the prerogative of asking questions.
Correct,
okay,
sir.
Tell me.
अच्छा सर, वेबसाइट काफी कंप्लेंट्स आ रही है सर नए वेबसाइट पे. सो व्हेन इज इट गेटिंग
ठीक हो जाए. ये भैया गए ईद मनाने, रोजे गले पड़ गए. अच्छी चीज बनाने के चक्कर में इन्फोसिस ने मरवा दिया. ये इन्फोसिस की मिस्टेक है.
That's right.
It will be rectified very soon. And if they are not rectified, automatically they will extend the date.
Extend the time.
What can we do? It is the Infosys problem. Even the finance minister has also said these are glitches in the new portal. But I'm telling you, this portal is going to be very, very useful after little time. Many things will come automatically in your return. Or whatever dividend you have received, whether without TDS or with TDS, complete detail. Your interest amount, complete detail. And next year, even your capital gain automatically calculated and auto-filled. There will be so many things which will be auto-filled. Even the TDS will be auto-filled. TCS will be auto-filled. Wait and watch what is going to happen. And one day will come when they say we have auto-filled everything. Please just sign your return. We know everything about you.
And also, sir, now there is a provision in the new system wherein you can do, you can download the app and you can send the return through mobile app also.
Correct. Yes, that is also there. It is becoming very easy. Sir, easy नहीं है. सबसे ज़्यादा difficult हो गया income tax है. वो तो आपकी हर चीज पता है. हमें सब पता है. अब वो सोचते नहीं, अब तो सीधा आपके पीछे पड़ जाएंगे. Don't think. They have made a 360-degree profile of each and every person. They know what are the assets you have, what are the shares you have, what are the mutual fund you have, what is your how many FDRs you have, what is your bank account, how much interest you have earned, everything they ever paid.
So
everything.
So the tax liability is already pre-computed by the department.
Correct. That's what I say. One day will come where they will do everything and they'll say just sign it because you have to certify that it is your return. That's all. Wait and watch. One has to be now honest. Forced honest.
Absolutely. Prasanna ji, your take.
Yeah. Fine. So whether charitable trust is required to apply for revalidation of registration section 12A and under section 80G separately?
Yes, because there is a code number. When there is a code number, second row is code number. When you are applying for re-registration, code number is 01. When you are applying for re-approval under 80G, the code number is 10. So separate application for registration of the trust, separate application for 80G, because it will take only one code. 01 is code for re-registration, 10 code for what I said is for A. And first time registration, the code is 02, and first time 80G, the code is 11. So be careful about that, sir.
Yes, sir. These are the questions for time being, sir, relevant to what you have spoken now. Other things will take us time.
Yes. Now, my point is, I have done in a nutshell, and I'm telling you, I'm warning everybody, those who are unregistered are going to have tough time if they don't get them registered. But they are asking me, sir, what about the past 3 years? I can't help it. I've been telling them to give them amnesty. They said we had already given them amnesty at the time when we brought the law on 1st April 2017, but nobody bothered. But let me tell you, they are going to have very tough time if there are trusts who are not getting themselves registered or approved. They will be monitoring everything. And let me tell you, there are certain trusts which are monitored by Darpan portal also, Niti Aayog. You know, if you have to take anything of NGO type, if you have to take any work from government or anything from government or any project, you have to be registered under portal of Niti Aayog, Darpan portal. And if you are not under Darpan portal, you will not get any assistance from government at all. They are going to monitor everything, let me tell you. But I'm already telling you, those who had the two approval, those who are on 1023C approval and 1112 approval, they will have to now decide once for all by 30th June whether they want to go under 1023C or they want to go under 12A. They cannot retain both.
So one relevant question, sir. So what is difference between medical institution and education institution under section 1023(3)?
So, sir.
I'm told AB.
Educational institution, medical institution is an educational institution. But there is a medical hospital. There is a hospital there. And that is attached, there is attached to some medical institution. That is a different story. Otherwise, medical institution is also educational institution. If you are doing a course of MBBS, MD, they are all educational institution. They are not, medical is not separate. These are hospitals. These are hospitals which are there. There also they will be covered under this.
Okay. That's all, sir. We'll proceed, sir.
Sir, can we continue, sir? अब तो हो गया मैंने जो brief पे देना था. Sanjeev ji, I think I've covered everything. If anybody else has any question, they can ask me. I am there. क्योंकि उतना ही पढ़ता है जितना उनके समझ में आ जाए. If you go beyond that, they may not be able to understand. That's what I'm saying. And they've been already sitting for 2.5 hours now.
And also, if anybody would like to have any question from this previous session, I'm willing to accept that.
He's still there. You can ask.
Yeah, in the next question, next set of questions have to come. Anil ji, you please send next set also. The set 1 is over already.
ये सबने मेरा लेक्चर सुना हुआ है, नहीं तो 200-300 questions आते. They've already heard, so now they are satisfied. Because I told them, if you have applied last year, you will get automatically provisional registration, which has come by 31st May.
Sir, 115 question आए हुए हैं.
I said, don't worry, it will come by 31st.
No. They come, sir. Actual office has to send us now.
Sir, 115 question आए हुए हैं. 115.
अच्छा, I don't know. He didn't ask me. मैं क्या करूँ?
No, sir. Set 2 has just now come, sir. He'll come. So before that, there's one question to Sengupta ji. Loss of profit policy. Loss of profit policy is most important for demand-driven business. Is it true?
Yes, loss of profit policy is absolutely important for a demand-driven business. For that matter, any business which is making profit, a loss of profit makes sense to buy the policy alongside a standard fire policy. So it's very important. And if anybody wants to reach me out for any specific advice, they can always get in touch with me.
Anilji, next set of questions will not come. So we're waiting for the next set to come, sir. Office is downloading that.
Okay, no problem.
Just a minute, sir.
Out of that 100, at least 50 will be repetitive time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Or more than that even.
Yeah.
Prasanna ji, can I ask? Can I ask a specific GST audit question? Is it okay on this forum, or shall we keep?
No, but you'll ask no GST. Sorry, is
only direct tax.
Direct tax.
Right, sir.
Direct tax, not only this subject, anywhere. First section to section, last section, anything, anytime.
Only direct tax.
Sir, I think there are about...
I only deal directly. I don't deal indirectly at all.
I think there are close to about 300 sections.
There are 550 sections. Because we read it 298, but there are 550 sections.
Sanjeev ji, could you see this? Set 3 has come. Yeah, set 3 has come just now. Yeah, you can ask. You can proceed. Sanjeev ji, you can ask.
Some network issues, sir.
Sanjay ji, are you able to see me?
Yeah.
I have one from. Okay.
Yeah, I'll continue. Yeah, a charitable trust registered under section 12 and running a charitable hospital and received donation in small amount in box collection where the name of the right are not known.
Up to 5% of the total donation, it can be anonymous donation. Beyond 5% of the total donation or 1 lakh, whichever is more. Beyond that, it will be taxable at 30% if it is charitable. They have to have the name of the donor, address of the donor, PAN number of the donor. Up to 5% of the total donation can be anonymous. That is which is coming in the box. That is anonymous. Beyond that, you will have to pay tax on it.
Okay.
Even if it is received in cash?
Anytime, cash or what? We need to have donor. Religious trust, no problem. क्योंकि रिलीजियस ट्रस्ट को तो मिलता ही गुप्त दान है. रिलीजियस ट्रस्ट को भगवान को तो नंबर 2 का ही दान मिलता है, नंबर 1 का कहां मिलता है. Religious trusts are different. I'm talking about charitable trust. They cannot take more than 5% as anonymous donation. क्योंकि जितने भी ट्रस्ट बने हैं पहले सारे नंबर 2 के तो बने हुए हैं. ये हॉस्पिटल, स्कूल, कॉलेज. AO used to ask, give me the source. He says, I don't have the source. He says, I text you. He said, what is the problem? You want to text me, but I've applied for charitable purposes. No question. So all anonymous donation was exempt at one time. Later on, they brought this law that if you receive anonymous donation for more than 5% of the total donation, it is going to be taxed at the rate of 30%.
Yes, sir. So whether Mandir trust of a community, not relatives, require to apply for registration section under Income Tax Act, whether Income Tax Department accept registration. So whether Mandir trust of a community need to apply for registration.
Doesn't make any difference. Mandir is always for religion. Religious trust is always for a particular religion. Charitable is not for religion. Religious trust is only for religion. Those that they need.
Yes. Okay.
If they don't get registered, any amount which they receive more than 50,000 will be taxable.
Yes, sir.
Unless it is a mutual association. Mutual association is a different thing. It is a private trust. It's not a mutual association.
Yes, sir. If a private trust receives corpus donation not registered under Section 12A, can the corpus donation be taxable?
Sir, private trust you are talking about.
Private
trust is only created by individual for the benefit of relative, not taxable at all. Anything you get. Anything you get. But if it is not for the benefit of relative, the entire amount which they will receive, whether corpus concept is only for charitable or religious. Here there is no corpus. Here it is the money which is, whatever you receive is fully taxable if they are not for the benefit of relative dependent on.
So, religious and charitable unregistered public trust receive donations. Whether deduction of expenditure on charity.
Not, sir, I have told you after 1st April 2017, nothing doing. वो कहते हैं ना दिल नहीं मानता है ये तो हम करते रहे लॉ बदल गया the law has changed. You cannot do it now.
Sir, there is a question. There is a Section 12A trust which is carrying a medical hospital. So can it be continued under 12A? And sir, hospitals do charge money. I mean, it's not that.
What is the problem? What is the problem? Absolutely nothing. You can continue. You have to apply for re-registration. That's all.
Okay. And sir, there is a question from Raghu from Tamil Nadu. We are trust having school, fully education purpose. 90% is the government grant which they receive. So whether they should apply for 12,
if they have a register, if they get 100% grant or more than 50% grant, they are covered under Section 1023C3 IAB. They have to only file return of income. No approval required. No audit required. No question of 85-15%. Only return is mandatory. For every year, they should get more than 50% grant. Every year. The year in which they don't get 50% grant, at that year they will have to apply for approval.
Okay. So there is
no problem. Only return mandatory. Nothing.
Right, sir. So there is a question which is accounting and taxation both. It says that the new Form 10A requires the reserves and surplus as on the date of application. But 2021 balance sheet is still not ready. So what should I do?
I said if you have filed the return of the past return of the years for which the assessment due date has expired. Has that date expired on 2021? No, you don't need. If they have already filed 3 returns prior to that, forget. You don't have to file anything. It's only for those who are unregistered, they have to do it.
Right.
Or first time registration.
Right. So next question is, can we insert the clause, irrevocable clause, in case 12A registration without prior permission of Commissioner of Income Tax Exemption?
Sir, pass a resolution of the trustee, send it there. They will take it easily because they are also at fault. Why didn't they see earlier while granting registration that it has to be irrevocable? They have been giving you exemption for so many years and now suddenly they have waken up and said it should be irrevocable. What have you been doing in the past? So just pass a resolution, you give it and later on you get it changed from trustee. No problem.
Right. So there's a question from Aurangabad. What about, whether the clubbing provision will apply in case of minor beneficiaries of the specified trust?
If the income accrues there and then, yes. If you write that income will accrue when he becomes major, then we have a judgment of M.R. Doshi. Then in that case, nothing will be clubbed. But when he becomes major, the entire income of the past year will become taxable in that particular year. because it has accrued when he has become major. Otherwise, no. Otherwise,
Right,
clubbing
sir.
is there.
Right, sir. So questions are flowing in. I would request Prasanna ji, you can take up next few questions.
Yeah. Sir, this again something related to the community. Trust created for a particular community, doing maintenance of puja and students, awards for the community. Whether trust is...
Sir, they will not be registered if they are charitable and for a particular community, they will not register under 12. They will not register under 12. It has to be public at large. But in case of a public at large, if you have said, there are 5 types of trust where it can be like trust for women, trust for minor or backward classes or scheduled tribe. In these cases, the trust can be for particular community or caste. Otherwise, if the trust is for particular community or caste, they don't give registration. But 5 I told you, women, minor. Yes, sir.
Sir, what about a trust who takes care of child with special needs, specifically child with special needs?
Yeah, but if the child is yours, it is a private trust. If child is a relative.
Yeah, for a public trust.
If it is for public at large, no problem. You get registration. It can be relief to the poor. There are 7 categories of charitable purpose. 1 is relief to the poor. 2nd is education. 3rd is yoga. 4th is medical relief. 5th is preservation of environment, including watershed, like forest, wildlife. Next is preservation of monument and other places. And the last is advancement of any other object of general public utility. Then go to advancement of general public utility. You will get it.
Sir, it seems you are absolutely reading from the book, sir. Absolutely from the act.
Sir, whether any trustee, as in case of a private charitable trust, the trustee is filed as a representative to assessee. In those cases, whether any trustee or a specific trustee shall file the return of income.
It depends what is written there in the trust deed. If it is 1 trustee, they can do it. If they are more than 1 trustee, but are they trustee for the benefit of all, or they can be trustee for the benefit of other and separate beneficiaries. If they are trustee for separate beneficiaries, then they will have to file returns separately. But if there is trustee for all the beneficiaries are same, then one of them can file also. What happens? Sometimes you say, this trustee is for group A. This trustee is for group B. In group A, there are 5 beneficiaries. In group B, there are 3 beneficiaries. Then in that case, a trustee of group A will file 5 returns and trustee of B group will file 3 returns.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If shares are defined.
Yes, sir. So now, just before I get the next set of questions, there's one question to Sengupta that I'll just take up. Yeah. Sengupta ji? Yeah. This is, I don't know whether this has been answered or not. Is there a health policy for persons who have arthritis already? We could not get any health cover from any insurance company for our sister-in-law who has got arthritis at a young age. Is it so? I don't know whether you'll be able to answer or not. Relevant question or not.
Yeah, I mean see, there is something called pre-existing disease clause.
Yeah.
So the accident or the disease which is already there, the insurance company will not cover that as part of the insurance contract. So that is known as the pre-existing diseases. Okay. It gets covered after a while. Like for example, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it can get covered, but not at the inception of the policy.
Yeah. Yeah, PA insurance covers accidental damages and due to accidental physical loss. The loss of employment is covered by way of weekly compensation. Can the loss of employment be covered under this PA cover, treating this as an external accident factor?
I think if I've understood the question correctly, external accidental factor. Yeah, I mean the personal accident, the trigger of personal accident is primarily there has to be a physical accident to the person, whether it is a bodily injury or the accident, the event has to occur, and if the event has occurred, the claim becomes admissible as part of the PI insurance contract. And once it is admissible, and if there is extension of the weekly unemployment or the weekly cash hospitalization cash, it can be a part of the policy and benefits can accrue to the person.
Right, sir. So, sir, there is a compliment. Of course, compliments are always there. There's a member from Pune. He says, "You look like a doctor who has the income tax act open in front of you. Truly a guru for all of us."
ये तो राजीव जी ने कह दिया ना पहले ही.
तो उसी बात को वो कह रहे हैं. सर एक
used to it, there's nothing new. चलिए.
गुवाहाटी से क्वेश्चन है सर. Trust having registration under 12A and 80G, whether two separate form 10A needs to be filed before 30th June.
Yeah, I told you, na. There is a separate code for 12A. There is a separate code for 80G. 12A का separate code है, 80G का separate code 11 और 12 है, और इसका 1 and 2 है.
Right, sir. So there is a question from Mumbai. Can a group of people do collection of fund by way of an association of person? Will that contribution be taxable in the hands of AOP?
100% taxable unless it is a mutual association meant for the benefit of the members of that mutual association, and that mutual association should be registered person. You can form a mutual association for the benefit of each other. Or earning income, you should get income from person outsider. When you are a mutual association, there is no problem.
Right, sir. Thank you. So next question.
अरे बॉम्बे वाले तो पूछते रहते हैं ना कि वो गणपति के टाइम पे इकट्ठा करते हैं या वो करते हैं, वो पॉइंट है आज का.
राइट सर. सर अब अगला क्वेश्चन बेंगलोर से है. एम्प्लॉई ग्रुप ग्रेचुटी फंड ट्रस्ट थ्रू दो क्रिएटेड बट नॉट रजिस्टर्ड विद इनकम टैक्स and they are not filing the tax return at all, though the year
without registration with the income tax act, they will not get benefit. How come that? They must have taken LIC policy, and LIC policy they must have already applied on their behalf, or they would have got it done. Otherwise, unapproved gratuity trust contribution not allowed as deduction to the company. Unapproved gratuity fund deduction not allowed. It is approved gratuity fund with the commissioner.
Right, sir. Sir, one question from Jalandhar. If an educational institution is registered under Section 12A, but his receipts are below 5 crores, and now he wants to avail benefit under new provision of Section 1023C.
चल जाओ 1023C में इधर पे इनऑपरेटिव कर दो.
तो कह रहे हैं क्या फॉर्मेलिटीज हैं उसके लिए?
कुछ फॉर्मेलिटी नहीं है, सो जाओ. अपने आप 1023C में भरना आगे से. When they ask question, you say we have decided not to go for. Problem क्या है? मैं आपको बताऊं. They have lots of money. Now, if it is 150 TD लग जाता है. If you are registered at 12A, तो 115 TD लग जाता है. मैं कहूँगा उनको कहीं अप्लाई कर दीजिए 12A, लेकिन बाद में रिटर्न 1023C में भरते. नहीं तो 115 TD लग जाएगा. वो कहेंगे why didn't you apply for registration? So let them apply.
सर अगला क्वेश्चन दिल्ली से. Whether public charitable religious trust will include a trust from a particular religion like Jain or Sikhs, etc.
Religious trust is always for a religion, particular religion. Mr. Rajiv wanted to ask anything.
Yeah.
He has raised his finger that you.
सर 80G की बहुत क्वेरीज आती है. हम प्रैक्टिसिंग चार्ट 80G की रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए क्वेरीज आती है काफी प्रैक्टिसिंग चार्ट अकाउंटेंट्स के पास. नाउ इट सीम्स प्रैक्टिकली 80G मिलना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. सो व्हाट इज योर गाइडेंस और एडवाइस ऑन हाउ टू प्रोसीड विद एन 80G?
देखिए, पहले पॉइंट बता दूं. अगर चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी कर रहा है, अप टू 5% रिलीजियस एक्टिविटी अलाउड है, अदरवाइज वो अलाउड नहीं है. Then they don't get 80G. Religious trusts do not get 80G. One point. Second point is, if you are a charitable trust and you are doing charity, if you are registered under 12A, why should they have a problem in that? The only condition is that the donor has now, whenever you are getting a trust registered, the trust will have to file the statement of the donation received from various persons under form number 10BD up by 31st May of the end of the financial year. Now it is a new law. So it is easier now. And if you donate, they will have to give name, address, PAN number of everyone. And once you file a statement, it will be auto-filled in the state returns of the person who have donated the money. And unless and until your name that donation appears there, you will not get deduction. So now there is a control. So if you have 12A, normally you get 80G, unless and until they are able to prove it that you are misusing the fund. Absolutely no. No, you will get it.
So religious trust is a problem.
Religious trust don't give.
They have stopped giving.
Are not entitled to 80G.
Sir, अगर instead of religion एक particular profession के लिए बनाए trust, for example chartered accountants के लिए या company secretary के लिए,
तो chartered और public at large है ना?
ठीक है sir.
chartered accountant नहीं है, public
at large. Rajiv, एक question आपके लिए, is there any insurance covering accidental or other disability of employees?
Accidental, yes. Disability arising out of the accident, yes. Not otherwise.
Okay, thank you. Sir, अगला question आपके लिए. An educational charitable trust registered under section 12A for registration before 30 June 21, whether 12A registration or 1023C registration, which one is best? सर इनकम टैक्स का क्वेश्चन है आपके लिए है सर. क्वेश्चन है, एक एजुकेशनल चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट है रजिस्टर्ड अंडर 12A, अब उसका दोबारा रजिस्ट्रेशन कराना 30 जून से पहले, क्या बेटर रहेगा 12A में कराना या 1023C में कराना?
सर ये तो फिर मैंने पूरी हिस्ट्री बताई थी. जब दोनों का डिफरेंस एक ही है कि फॉर्म 9A आपको अलाउ नहीं है इन 1023C. मतलब if you have an income which is approved but not received under Form 9A, you could file under 12A, you cannot file here. And if there is an income which you say I will apply next year, Form 9A can be given under 12A, it cannot be given other. Otherwise, they are on level playing field. But only thing is, go to 1023C when you are exclusively in for education or exclusive for medical. If you have other objects also, better to go for 12A.
Sir, एक क्वेश्चन आज के दिन बहुत relevant है. A lot of crowdfunding is happening to help people suffering from COVID or this particular special injection which comes from UK and costs 16 crore rupees. And people have given 1,000 rupees and collected those 16 crore or for medical treatment of that person having COVID. So this crowdfunding, what is the taxability? The amount can be paid directly to the hospital or it can be paid
किसी को भी दे दीजिए. मैं बता दूं, ये ज्यादा चैरिटी आज नजर आ रही है, बाद में फंस जाएंगे. Collect that money through a registered trust and then you give it to anyone, absolutely no problem. And if you don't collect that money through a registered trust, you are going to have tough time, I'm telling you.
So routing is very important. Routing of it through the trust.
पैसे इकट्ठा करके उसके फैमिली को 10 लाख दिया है, सारा का सारा टैक्सेबल है जिसको मिला.
और सर अगर 16 करोड़ रुपए दे दिया उस इंजेक्शन के लिए
सब टैक्सेबल हो जाएगा. देखिए आज सेंटी सेंट्स वो है, सेंटीमेंट है. जब टैक्स लगेगा ना तब देखना क्या हाल होगा. ये डिपार्टमेंट कोई पता नहीं, उस वक्त कोई सेंट उनके वो नहीं रहते सेंटीमेंट्स.
राइट. So
next question through registered trust, that's only thing.
All right, sir. So next question: in case the existing public charitable trust transfer its immovable property to another charitable public trust with similar objective, will there be an incidence of stamp duty while registering in the name of
stamp duty? The stamp duty is a local. It's not has nothing to do with income tax.
Right,
they will
absolutely.
Definitely charge stamp duty. It has nothing to do with income tax. It is a local law.
Right. I'll request Prasanna ji to take up next few questions. Sir, already 169 members have asked question. Of course, उसमें से कुछ ने अपने membership number भी दिए हैं कि मेरे को CP hours दे देना. But largely these are the questions. 169.
And Chairman sir, what are the number of viewers who are viewing right now?
Just a minute, Rajiv. So it is 2,822 and 7,344 people have done the IP hits.
Mr. Sanjeev.
Yeah.
So you continue because the questions that have been sent
Sure.
are completed.
Sure.
Please continue.
So next question, whether the administrative expenses deduction will be allowed in case of a religious and charitable trust?
Sir, if it is registered, everything is allowed. If it is not registered, nothing will be allowed.
Right.
Otherwise,
sir,
you go under commercial. You go under a commercial activity. Form 5.
Sir, question from Mumbai. A public charitable trust have applied for registration on its incorporation, but the tax department has not responded to such application and not given registration. Then that trust got. Sir, they applied for registration on the incorporation, but tax department has not responded to the application so far. Then
when did they apply? When did they apply? Last year or this year?
Sir, I am assuming last year. It's not.
If they applied last year, they must have received the provisional registration. They are wrong.
Okay.
Check up. If they applied last year, they must have received the provisional registration.
Okay, sir. Sir, suppose now they applied and they have not received it, and they
last year का tax लग जाएगा. I don't know. इस साल का application different है. Why do you apply when you have applied last year? You have to take the benefit of last year also. So don't apply today. Otherwise, they will open the case of last year. Check up with them. Why did they receive it? They must have received it. Find out.
Right, sir. So question from
they will get it.
Sir,
question from
संजीव भाई एक सेकंड संजीव भाई ये एक डॉक्टर साहब एक डीमिंग प्रोविजन भी है इसमें कि 6 महीने तक अगर आपकी एप्लीकेशन नहीं होती है
वो जमाने चले गए वो जो जजमेंट आप बताते हैं सोसाइटी फॉर एडवेंचर और स्पोर्ट्स वो चले छोड़ दीजिए उसमें वो डीमिंग प्रोविजन था 6 महीने वाला लेकिन आप बता दो रिटर्न कैसे भरोगे नंबर कहाँ है आपके पास रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर आप तो डीम्ड कह गए वेर इज द रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर जाकर लाइए तो सही नंबर डीम्ड कैसे हो जाएगा हाउ विल यू फाइल योर रिटर्न How will you file your return? It is easy to say, it is difficult to implement it, although the Supreme Court has said it, but they have not given registration yet.
Right, sir. Sir, can there be merger of 2 or more trusts?
Merger of?
2 or more trusts.
Certainly. If both are registered, okay. If one is not registered, then you can do it. Registered trust, you can do a merger. Why not?
Sir, a trust is...
वो लिखा हुआ है 115 TD में पढ़ लें. If they merge, provided that should be registered.
Right, sir. Sir, a trust is basically giving oxygen concentrator for people for use, and it is taking security deposit and is refunding the security deposit once the oxygen concentrator is basically given back. So, is it okay? I mean,
no problem. Registered or not registered?
It is registered.
No problem.
Right. Sir, the next question is a registered trust for the benefit of disabled.
Sir, falling out of Sanjeev sir's question, if security deposit is not refunded, then it will become taxable?
If it is registered, let me tell you, if there is not refunded, then you have to take a letter that treat it as a donation. The matter is
donation.
Over.
Right.
The matter is over.
Right. Sir, the next question from Guwahati. A registered trust for benefit of disabled people or people with special ability, we may call, are providing training and employment to the beneficiaries. And the products made by them are sold by the trust and proceeds are used
no problem. Incidental to the attainment of the objective of trust, if separate books account maintained and the trust is registered, there is absolutely no problem. Incidental, if you are carrying on a business which is incidental to the attainment of the objective of trust, have no problem, but trust should be registered. That's all.
Right, sir. Sir, whether a separate application is required for Section 12A and Section 35 for an institution engaged in
35 different sections का code भी different है. उसका code ही शुरू होता है 14 से 19 तक, तो 13 से 19 तक. तो code अलग है, सबकी अलग-अलग होगा. सर उनको कहिए फॉर्म 10A को देखिए नीचे डाउनलोड करिए वहां पर 19 कोड नंबर डले हुए तो वो 19 में कोड नंबर है तो जिसका अलग कोड डलेगा उसका अलग एप्लीकेशन इट इज टेकिंग ओनली वन कोड फॉर अदर कोड यू हैव टू अप्लाई सेपरेटली
राइट Rajiv, a small question for you. In Mediclaim policy, Sometimes expenses are rejected. Do they doubt the expenses? What is the reason for rejection of the expenses?
Okay, so every health policy contract, insurance contract has compulsorily the IRDA, the regulation, while accepting a health policy, registering a health policy of various insurance companies in India. It is a part of the contract and is a part of the policy document wherein a list of 200 plus items which are not allowed as a health claim has been specified. So I would request, please go through the insurance policy, go through those 200 plus items which are not covered, and then only take a decision whether it is right, the insurance company is right in rejecting the claim or not.
They don't tell, now we just sign the policy without looking into anything.
Sir, my advice is take the policy contract. Contract की policy ले लो. लेते नहीं है लोग, लेकिन you should take the entire policy contract, the entire docket.
Rajiv, उसके बाद भी choice नहीं है. Sir, of course, now तो there are premier medical policy, HDFC, Tata AIG, New India, which has a lot of coverage. But otherwise, yes, that's an issue. Sir, there is a question for you. Capital gain tax in case of transfer of immovable property from one trust to another similar trust. Will capital gain tax apply?
What do you want to get? Capital gain for transfer to other trust, transfer to anyone. Capital gain is there. Apply that capital gain or invest that capital gain in the another asset. That's all. You spend that money, 85%, 15%, same treatment. Don't think 11(1)(a) has any meaning. You buy an asset with the help of that, it is application. Or otherwise, you apply 85%, 15%, it is application.
Right, sir. So the next question is, in case an educational institution is claiming exemption under section 1023C IIIAD, whether it needs to file audit report in form 10B?
Not at all. 3IAD, no report, nothing. Only return. No document. No question of audit. No question of 85, 15%. No question of approval. Nothing. Only filing a return mandatory.
Right. Sir, I think there are a large number of repeat questions. Very large number of repeat questions. It is difficult to identify the new question, but I think you have answered, sir, I think more than 75 questions. And Sir Rajiv, we have taken up questions on insurance as well. And then some members are asking for your contact details. So maybe Rajiv, you can just spell out your email detail to members so that if they are Ahuja sir का phone number तो सबके पास है, तो वो तो
अरे मुन्नी बदनाम है, करे क्या करे.
So maybe Rajiv, you can just spell out your phone number or the email ID, and then I will be requesting Prasanna ji to give a vote of thanks.
Sure. So I think mobile number people can note. It's 98108 50407. So you can ping me on this number, and then I can exchange the email ID.
Rajiv, just repeat once more.
It's 98108 50407.
Please also give the mail ID.
RAJIVSENGUPTA, that's Rajiv Sen Gupta .ca, C for Calcutta, A for Ambala, @gmail.com. I'm available 24/7. You can give me a call anytime.
Thank you, Rajiv. Now I would request Prasanna ji for giving a vote of thanks, although no words are enough, for thanking Dr. Girish Ahuja sir at any point of time. The number of webinars he takes, the number of queries he answers. And I think today we had a very excellent session on insurance as well. So personally, for me also, this was very enriching. And even on the trust, I was able to ask some of the questions which I also wanted to know. So I got the answers today. So Prasanna ji, over to you for a formal vote of thanks. From my side, I'm thankful to all the three panelists today. Rajiv Sen Gupta, Mr. Tapan Singhal, who's the MD of Bajaj Allianz, and our evergreen and the youngest member, Dr. Girish Ahuja sir.
Yeah, thank you.
ये taunt मार रहे हैं मेरे को, youngest member कह के. अरे बोलो तो yes, youngest कह के क्यों कहते हैं? Say young. That's all.
ठीक है sir. Our young member.
Into difficulty. You are telling me they don't care. He himself says youngest. I'm one of you. That's all.
Right, sir. Taunt मारने का तो सवाल ही नहीं होता सर. वो तो हम सोच ही नहीं सकते हैं. किसी हालत में नहीं सोच सकते। जो स्वामी जी के साथ योगा कर सकते हैं लाइव, तो वो तो यंगेस्ट कुछ भी कह लो। Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Friends, I too joined Sanjeev Singhal in thanking all the panelists today for the first session. Rajiv Sengupta, who continued after the session is over also, he continued to clarify all the doubts that what we had. And Tapan Singhal, who is in absence here, he has also covered very well, moderated and answered by Sengupta also. Thank you very much. And, of course, when I come to see Dr. Girish Ojaji, it is always a strength for us when you are with him. So, as I told you, I am not exaggerating. I am not using superlative youngest. I am not using that stand corrected. Or one amongst us. And when I talk about he is young, I am also feeling I am also young along with him. So, thank you, sir. So, while the first two speakers give insurance against living articles, and also non-living articles, and also insurance against any claims. And Dr. Girish Ojaji has given insurance against the income tax also. So both insurance are very good today. So we are benefited out of that one. I thank all the participants for encouraging us to conduct programs of this kind with your very good encouragement. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Take care. Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.